Hello and welcome everyone to Cybercast, the Transformer and Action Figure Podcast Show, episode 317. Joined with a couple of guys here. Chris, why don't you introduce yourself?
As you can probably gather, my name's Chris. You can find me on Twitter at Barrett Prime, but I don't really post much stuff.
All right, and we have a longtime viewer of the show. He's been able to join us today. David, if you want to tell people where they can find you, I know you got the Instagram. I don't know what else you want to shout out there, but where can people find you? And also, you can tell them a little bit about yourself.
So I'm David. I want to thank Hex for having me on. Longtime fan, big fan of your content, man. I've been watching you for years, bro. Back in the day with the Transformers early reviews. So it's nice to finally be on the show, and nice to meet you, Chris. And I live out in the Sierra Nevadas, up in the high desert. So the climate's good for Hot Toys, which is great. I collect Transformers, Gundam, Hot Toys, statues. You name it. Huge Star Wars fan, huge Hot Toys Predator fan. As far as like where you can find me, I am on IG. I think it's just David Lynchen, but a little bit of a ghost in the shell. I kind of stay, keep a low profile, if you will. But yeah, I'm not a YouTuber or anything like that, but it's cool to be on your show. Thank you.
Awesome, man. Hopefully, we can get some more people in here because I know like Toy Mafia, Randy Books, they're in the chat with us, and they've been watching it a long time. So hopefully, we can start getting more of you guys in. So if y'all just ever message me either on Twitter or Instagram, YouTube, I don't think you can message on YouTube anymore directly. Used to be able to, but if you ever want to get in contact with me there, G1Xtron on Twitter and Instagram, let me know you'd like to be on the show, and then I'll send an invite out to you. So let's do a figure of the week, and then I know that David, you said you kind of wanted, you had some questions, some topics you wanted to bring up, so we'll get into those before we get into screen share. Chris, this keeps on. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're coming through.
I don't know if it's my connection or okay. All right, it keeps on doing these buffering wheels on both of you guys. So, Chris, you got a figure of the week or the 2 weeks?
I got too much stuff, and I spent like $1,000 on stuff, but probably like my favorite figure of the week is the X9 Gabriel. Holy mother of crap! I'm sold. I should have got that when it first came out. Like so many people were saying that, oh, the ratchets are too strong, and oh, this problem and that problem. It's fine. I mean, I guess like mileage may vary, but it's just everything where I want, and it's brilliant. But now, as you can tell, I'm kind of running out of room.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I got some Masterpiece. What did I get? I got Starscream, the new one, Thundercracker, and because I don't really like Skywarp, I still have the original Skywarp that just doesn't want to stand. And I've just gone into some 86 Studio Series stuff. So, yeah, it's good. It's good. It's going good.
I like the 86 Studio stuff. A lot of it is our hits. I mean, it seems like the last few lines, like in our Cybercast chat, we're talking on Twitter. I was like, because I think Sport was like, I'm gonna sell some line, and I'm like, dude, it's all chug to me. Like I couldn't tell you to save my life with the last 3 lines. Like this one is Legacy, I think, and the one before that, I couldn't even tell you what it is. Because I just it's all. Art joins as well. What's up, man? Mike, David, you got a figure of the week that you picked up, or I guess lately?
I do. I just picked up this iconic Studios Ryu 1/6 scale, and they did a collaboration with Fison TV League, and they built this custom buffed out body, if you will, which is awesome. And this is their first release in this format with Street Fighter, and it's absolutely amazing. And I guess next week they're going to come out with Ken, and I'm going to lock that in. And I could go down that rabbit hole and whatnot, but I think I just want Ryu and Ken Those were my two guys that I've jammed with in the in the 80s and stuff. But this figure here is amazing, and the weight. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with TB League bodies, but their endoskeletons are steel, right? So it's got some heft to it, and then the bodies are all fleshed out and whatnot. So there's no joints.
Okay,
it's amazing.
Wait, it's posable?
Oh yeah, look at that.
I thought it was a statue.
No. Fully posable. The presentation that they came out with was incredible, man. They had, like the punching bag, the stand. He came with all kinds of fists, different faces and whatnot. So this is a very, very good first release. I'm very happy with Iconic Studios, and I want to lock in that Ken.
Yep, Blitzwing 5000 joins us. He says that's a nice Ryu. So what company was it? Because he may look into getting it too.
Iconic Studios with Iconic with a Q on the end, Studios, and Ryu's hard to get. I hear they're going to do a second batch. Ken's going to come out next week on April 6th. I got to get that. But if he keeps an eye on their website or Big Bad Toy Store, he should be able to maybe get a second batch on the Ryu.
What about the price wise? Are they like around Hot Toys or?
Yeah, it wasn't cheap. It was probably about I think it was $280.
Oh, okay.
If it's still skeleton, it's got to be like around the 300 with all that stuff too.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I just recently did a custom Bane. I know Hot Toys is coming out with a Bane 2.0, but I bought this third-party kit for Bane, and then I used the Fison body on it, and that was my first tangible before him. So I knew after I was done with my Bane, check this Bane out.
I was going to say, which version of Bane?
This Bane. So this is a third-party kit, but I used a similar body. It's a little bit smaller body, but it's incredible. Look at the biceps, dude.
Wow, yeah.
It's insane, dude. And all of that, moves, and whatnot. It's the new technology. And I don't know if you're aware of this, Hex, but Hot Toys have really cut over, and they're going to cut over this year. They're doing their own silicone, or is it silicone or silicon? Silicone bodies. So they now are starting to transfer
seen that
over.
For
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I remember whenever it's been about like a year or so. Whenever they were like first introducing it, and we were looking at it, and we're like, dude, that's beautiful, because it just steps it up even more.
It does, and I'm going to tell you
because you don't see those joints. You don't see those joints in the wherever the forearm or whatever.
Excuse my camera, dude. I don't really have a great camera. My lighting sucks, but I hope you guys can kind of see.
Yeah, we can see
incredible it is. And Hot Toys is, they're like, you know what? If you can't beat them, join them. And I'm pretty sure they're not even in collaboration with TB League. Hot Toys has a lot of resources, as you know. Chris, I don't know if you collect Hot Toys, Hex. You did back in the day. They have blown up, dude. I mean, it's insane how many. Remember Hex back in the day when you'd get like, 10 or 12 a year. Now it's like 150 a year.
Yeah.
Dude, I know from Rick, because Rick is real big into it, and to where he's just like, dude, I gotta like move my calendar around because they're just like, it's like all of a sudden sideshows like just in a week, like here's 6 coming, So
yeah,
I know I've got that Batmobile on payment plan whenever that sucker starts, so I gotta sell this Masters of the Universe Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain just to have room for it. So.
Did you lock in the Hot Toys Batmobile?
All right, for my figure of the week, I'm gonna go with one that Rick had in his top 20 because I just got it. I'm gonna go with the Hudson. Again, it's NECA, so it's scary, but they do look good. That's the thing about NECA is like I've never been able to say aren't really, they aren't good. It's always their QC issues. So hopefully, I haven't had any breaks on my gargoyles yet. So I hope that stands true. Hopefully they improve the quality a little bit because they've certainly jumped in price more than what they used to. I remember whenever you go in and the NECA stuff was like $18, for one. And then you were like, man, that's a little high, because at the same time we were paying $12 for deluxe Transformers, to kind of give you any idea. So
Making me feel old,
yeah, and I
man.
think at that time, like Voyager Transformers were $20, or were they 15? I think at one point they were 15, and then went to 20. I don't know. They've done so many
Yeah, they were
price
like
jumps.
$18-$20. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Hex. I mean, and Chris, you could probably, isn't it crazy the journey that we've taken? Because I was such, into the classics. I was into, the hanky Transformers. Remember when Fans Project came out? I was all about that. I had the Bruticus, all that stuff. Do you remember Protector kits that went around the classics Hot Rod and it turned it into Rodimus Prime?
Yeah, I had the one for Ultra Magnus.
Yeah.
The Fans Project add-on kit. I had the one for Ultra Magnus, and I was like, dude, this just looks aesthetically pleasing. Like the way it, as many times as they remade that sucker, it would still sell for hundreds of dollars. Like it was crazy. So
yeah, do you remember when they had that? They had the black scythe one, the Rodimus.
I remember the black scythe.
Yeah, that was expensive, man. I mean, so my point is like, obviously you're a huge Transformers fan, Chris. So am I, man. And it's like, since I'll never forget, it was like 2004 when I was in Walmart, and then I had collected as a kid. They were all gone, and I saw that masterpiece MP01 or whatever, and I was like, well, hello. And then that's kind of like from when I was a kid as to moving forward into the new era of collecting, where it just like that opened up Pandora's box, bro. That's where it started for me.
I just find it weird, like looking back on, like, say, like the last 15, probably about the last 10, 15 years. Look at the figures that we thought was like, oh my God, I can't believe they've actually made this. Like, this is it. We've made it. It's not going to get any better. Now looking back and thinking, God, that haven't aged well. It looks like crap. And we're going to be saying the same things about all this. Like my HasLab Unicron, like that's going to look like utter crap in like 15, 20 years. And, with bloody, what do you call it? Fansoy's making the Fortress Maximus, which is going to be like 4.5 foot tall.
Crazy.
That'll have no use really. It's like I only bought that because biggest Transformer ever, but it's going to be short-lived.
I just think we're as collectors, we've reached everything that we've ever truly thought was possible. We're like at the height of collecting from so many different lines. It's almost like mind-boggling. Bandai, Hot Toys, Kenner, or what? Who has the Black Series license? Hex?
Hasbro.
I mean, dude, it's insane. McFarlane. Hey, man, I don't know. Did you lock in that '89 Batmobile, Hex, from McFarlane? I think he froze.
He's frozen. Oh, he's back.
Yeah. Let's see. Guy. Yeah. For some reason, it keeps saying the Wi-Fi router. For some reason, I don't know why. I'm on a LAN connection.
Or no, that's weird. Actually, Chris and I are like in real time. I'm not freezing with Chris.
Okay, so every once in a while, I guess it's messing up. I don't know why. I've got the door open and everything, but hopefully it resolves. But I guess I forgot to mess with the LAN connection, so I'm running Wi-Fi, and the router's on the other side of the house. So
it's not bad. It's only doing it every now and then.
Yeah.
So let's see. Randy, he says he's also going to get the picking up the Hot Toys Batmobile, and he also said may not be many toys in 15 years. And I know that we've had this question topic before, that like this newer generation of kids, I don't know how many of them are really into the toys. So like I got 3 nephews. One's 3 months old, one's coming up on 2 years old, and the other one's like 7 years old. and I used to just like get them all the same thing. So I don't care if the one was whatever, whenever like he was born, like he was just a few weeks old at the time. He got like Transformers that you would buy like me and you, and he got Masters Universe Origin figures. Same did the 2-year-old, same did the 7-year-old. And it was this last Christmas where I got all, the 7-year-old, all these Master Universe Origin figures and stuff. And I could tell that he wasn't as excited as he has been all the previous years.
Yeah.
But he was more excited whenever I got him the video games, like here's a new video game to play on your Switch or something like that. And like, that's what he got really excited about. So I could tell that like, even at 7, and every year I've like gave him toys. I was always the cool uncle because everyone would give him like clothes and gift cards to get more clothes or whatever. And I was like, nah, Uncle Josh is going to get you toys. That's what you're getting. To where it was this time, I'm like, these young kids, I remember I played with toys for a long time. And I had 2 younger brothers as well, so they were still playing with toys, and so I would get down there and play with them too. I think until I was about 11 or 12 or something like that, to where I would still be like, new G.I. Joes, they still interest me. Transformers, they still interest me. To where now the younger kids is like, dude, they're getting off and they're like, what game can I play on the phone? What game can I play video games? And this seems like they'll go that direction quicker. Plus, as expensive as the toys are getting, because I just saw this week where it was like, here's some Marvel Legend Spider-Man, and I think it was like $36 or something like that. And I'm like, what makes this $36? Like, I don't understand, and it was just a Spider-Man. I think it's like cell shaded or something is what they said it was. But I was like, I don't like, for the price of 2 of those, you could have a AAA title video game.
Yeah.
And
well, it's the same thing, bro. I was in an RC, like remote control cars, right? And I'm sitting there, and I was in a shop about 6 months ago, and I was looking around, and I like it because I live up in the high, desert and whatnot. You can kind of fuss around out there. But this dad was in there, and he was like begging his kid, bro, to get an RC car that was like $500. It was insane what he wanted to get him. It was like I think it was a Revo, and the kid was crying because he wanted a new phone.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I would have begged, I would have loved for my dad to do that with me, bro, at that age. And that never happened. I was besides myself, and the guy was kind of like, well, no, just kind of trying to talk him into it. But the kid was no interest, dude.
I think the only thing that's going to save toys is pretty much as how can I word it? As much as people don't like it, I mean, it is what it is. What saved the Transformers franchise were the movies, because sales were just tanking down. But then the movies came out, and it's like, right, okay, so you have something visual you've seen from a film, and you now have something physical in your hand. I think that's just going to be the same for like everything with cartoons, or like Josh has shown is like Hudson figure. The only reason for it, if they just came out just randomly gargles, no cartoon, no nothing, do you know what I mean? Less likely it's going to sell.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably going to be the way forward, but time will
Are
tell.
you guys aware that Hasbro and the Transformers they're working on an animated movie that's going to just take place on Cybertron? Are you aware of that?
Yep.
Is that still happening, man?
Yeah, it's still happening.
Yes.
I mean, whenever I watch the Bumblebee movie, like the first 5 minutes of it, I'm like, dude, I want a movie with just this,
Yes.
Yeah. And I don't understand why they're like, hey, we have to pump in all these like human actors into it and make sure they have like all this dialogue. I guess if you're going to pay these actors, like you're going to hire someone like, let's say Mark Wahlberg or whoever, that they need to have their lines because you're paying them for a reason. But like we said this a couple Cybercasts ago, people don't go to see a Transformer movie to go see the actors. They go to see the robots. You know, so
it's the same thing with like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's like it worked because obviously for Casey and all that, they were in the cartoons, so it's like that's acceptable. But with all these like Sam Witwickies, like no, and then as you said, Mark Wahlberg again, no. It just needs to be about the actual Transformers, believe it or not. Maybe one day.
Also, speaking of prices, like with the Black Series stuff, like I used to be like, I want every interpretation. If there's like there was a C-3PO where they made a mistake where when he came out with the red arm, there was one that was it was supposed to be maroon, but they I guess had made some mistakes and they had come out with like a few batches where it was like a bright red, and one of the viewers of the show was actually like, I've found that, let me send it out to you. So I was able to obtain that through them. But like I used to want every variant and army build, every clone trooper, every single one of them. Dude, I have skipped so many Star Wars figures. I'm just like, y'all now they're like almost $30 or more a figure, and I'm just like, unless they're like from the main trilogy, like I don't really care anymore. Because they come out with all these TV shows now, and then they're like, hey, let's release a ton of figures for them, and I'm like, I don't really care anymore.
Yeah.
So it's made me lose interest.
Even Randy's saying that he doesn't like the Black Series prices. How much is that? Like for your typical like Black Series fig?
Well, I mean, they're all ranging to where like the base price, it used to be $19.99, and they kept that price for a long time, for years. While they were going up on everything else, they kept the Black Series $19.99, and then they started doing okay, GameStop will have these exclusives, but GameStop charges like $25. And then they started going to, and when Toys R Us would have an exclusive, they would be $25. Target's exclusive, like if it was an exclusive, it would be $25. And people were buying them up. So, and I think they were buying them up just because they were exclusives. And it wasn't like some like odd figure where you're like, I don't really care. It was like someone key that you needed. So they were selling out of those. And I think that they just looked at that like, hey, we could just sell all these for like $25. So you started seeing the price go up on them. And that's the only thing, or just a price. You can make up whatever, they can make up whatever excuse they want to. But I don't know. To me, like who's buying that stuff? Like it's not like your child is like, I want a new toy, and like if you're like, I want to, like, hey, you're being good while we're grocery shopping, like you're good. All right, I'll get you something. You behave the entire time. They're not gonna reach out and grab a $30, action figure.
He's still going into the Matrix, bro.
Yeah, I get what you mean. So
no, I do too. But you got to remember something, man. When I was a kid, right? So I probably got you beat by maybe a decade or two. I'm almost
$3 right? GI Joes.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say is when I was a kid and I was searching for those Seekers and the Soundwave and the Constructicons, they were expensive too, man. I mean, Transformers, to get like a Grimlock, he wasn't $20. He was expensive. Soundwave was expensive. Optimus Prime was what, $59.99, and back in 1984, that was a lot of money, dude.
Oh yeah.
So God, and I don't know where you grew up, Hex, but I kind of grew up in the mountains, so it was like I didn't really have a lot of access to awesome stores, and I don't know if you guys remember Payless. There was a Payless or a Best. It wasn't Best Buy, it was just called Best, and they would have Transformers, or Mervyn's would have Transformers, you know. So it was like they were hard to find in the 80s, in my opinion. Did you have a hard time finding them, Chris? Or were you weren't even born, were you?
I weren't even a thought back then. What year was that? I'm 31, so.
Oh yeah, bro. Oh God. So yeah. And Hex is what, 42?
41.
You're 41?
So,
yeah.
Yeah, I was born in 82. So
74.
See, Bill says, dude, I remember Mervin's. Dude, there was another place, Service Merchandise, my grandmother dropped there. It was actually in one of our malls. So there, this mall had Service Merchandise. I don't remember the Sears.
Did you have a Fred Meyers?
I don't remember if that one, but we had a KB Toys in there, which was
dude. We had
I think in that same mall, at the same time we had a Toys R Us and a KB Toys and a Service Merchandise, you know, to where it was like, dude, just.
Dude, I grew up when Toys R Us they would have like Darth Vader and stormtroopers there for kids to meet. I mean, there was like lines wrapped around the buildings, you know, to meet Darth Vader and the stormtroopers, you know, and that's when Star Wars was just absolutely on fire, like in 1980, you know. I wish they did that. They don't do that stuff for kids anymore, man. It's over, dude.
This is back whenever we had brought up this topic, so I don't know if you remember this episode because it was few years ago. This is back when Toys R Us was still around, but was like at the cusp of closing. And I think it was Rick and I, we had made the suggestion of what if, you know, like you put these Transformers out here, they're these prices or whatever. The parents, even looking at the directions, they're not as well explained now, and they're harder to read as they were back then. Yeah. And most, you know, and they're more complicated transformations now than what they were back then. If they would have someone that was like, you know, like in my local area, like the Toys R Us manager at the time, like they knew me, right? Mm. And if they were like, hey, you're big into Transformers, we got a new wave of Transformers coming in. Would you mind coming in on a Saturday from like 12 to 2 or something like that and just sit down and just transform figures? You know, it just that's all you're doing. You know, you're not sitting here trying to sell them. You know, I'm not an employee. I'm not trying to sell the toys, but I'm showing the parents so they know. I'm showing the kids so maybe they pick up on it. You know, I'm not doing a review or anything. I'm just like, here I am transforming it. You need me to go back? I go back. And like, I'm sure that would boost their sales, you know, and it's not something to where I would be looking for like some type of compensation or anything. Right. Like, I think there would be people around and all across, you know, if that's something that Toys R Us wanted to do, is just like, hey, if you wouldn't mind helping them, because like you, dude, I'd want someone to help my nephews, you know, if I wasn't able to, you know, help them. Yeah. So, like we were saying, if they had something like that where they come in, hey, we're having an event, you know, Transformers new line is coming out, like you say with the movie, or if, you know, it's not something I don't think Walmart or Target would do, but like back then, Toys R Us should have, you know, took an opportunity of something like that to see if there was any local collectors in their area that would help out, because I got to think that Transformers, that's a hard one to, if the parent is not familiar with it, that's a hard one to buy the kids. Yeah. You know, because what if it breaks?
I'll tell you what, bro. So I live in Reno now, but I lived in Folsom, California before we moved here, and there was a Hobbytown USA, and they had RC cars, they had all kinds of different stuff, and they had a huge Gundam section with model kits, right? And I was in there one day, and the owner came over and introduced himself, and I said, how are these Gundam kits selling? And he goes, not very good. And I go, I can understand why. I said, what you need to do is get a glass case. Once you get a glass case, ping me, and I'll put some of the master grades and perfect grades that I built in the case so they can get it tangible as to what it is, right? You have to do that. And once we put it in that glass case, and I got my stuff back, but once I put my models in there and kids could see what it was, those Gundam model kits started flying off the shelves. So to your point, Hex, I mean, a lot of people, when you don't know, right? So it's like that's something that's kind of missing these days. You got to give a little bit of a tangible, and I agree with you. If you could, show them what it does, they'd be more interested in it.
It boggles my mind because they turn around and say that they're making Transformers nowadays like more simplistic and whatnot because kids don't have an attention span anymore. But they say they don't have an attention span, yet they can sit on their phone and just scroll through Facebook for like hours and hours. It's like, so why can't you just deal with like a complex like Transformer? I can understand it. I can't fathom it. Boggles my mind.
The 2-year-old, he's got like a little iPad or something. It's not iPad, but it's like for kids iPad with rubber, and he got it, and he plays all these games, and he's doing all the. Oh, whenever he was 1.5-year-old or something, a little younger than that. My brother, he just texts me, and he's all like, "Hey, are you gonna buy this one game?" Because I guess we were playing a demo of it. I forget what it was called. And I'm like, no, I don't think I want that one. It didn't interest me very much. And he goes, okay, well, Leo just bought it, the Ultimate Edition for me, on PlayStation Store. Like, he set him down there with like Netflix playing. He grabbed the controller. By the time he went to the bathroom and came back, he gets a notification on his phone that he had just purchased this new $100 game. Some Ultimate Edition. He was like, yeah, I got to set this up on 2-step verification now because, I'm like, dude, they'll figure that stuff out.
Yeah, they will. They'll figure out the applications and the, whatever, the video games, but can they figure out like puzzles and make it their mind kind of like, educated, dude? I don't know, man. There's an argument for both sides because, Hex, when you were growing up and I was growing up, and Chris, whatever, it's like, you're playing video games, right? And that was the argument back in the day. Oh, video games are violent, video games, is mindless. But at the same time, they also recognize that it's thinking skills and you're doing your thing. So I could see arguments for both sides, but I think the key is moderation, dude. There's no escaping new technology. Look, I'm in cybersecurity, right? You can't escape technology. You can't, but you have to put a limit and a moderation is key for kids. And the kids that aren't getting it, dude, they're falling asleep with their phones in their face on the pillow, and it's a disaster. It's a disaster.
It's interesting you say cybersecurity because my missus is in cybersecurity as well over in the UK. But the stuff she tells me, it scares my mind. I'm thinking, right, okay, do you know what? No social media as a growing up. I'm just gonna give him like a Game Boy and like, I don't know, maybe some acorns in the corner to like play with, and that's it. No tech.
Puzzles, model kits.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff is, being outdoors, RC cars, depending if it's a girl or a boy, you kind of whatever, but you have to go outside. You have to spend time outside.
I think the one toy brand that will continue on, what it probably being one of the longest, will be Lego, or some form of that, because it inspires creativity as well. Like, hey, you buy this set or whatever, and you can build that, but you can also take it apart and build whatever the hell you want. I mean, they're just more expensive. I remember, like, I got a huge trunk full of just different colored Legos from like a garage sale, when I was a kid, and there was probably pieces of castle in there and pieces of all the spaceships and stuff, but it was just all mixed, and I was just like, dude, I create whatever I want. I know we got the 2-year-old nephew. My mom got him some Lincoln Logs, and he was just kind of like, You
remember those, dude? Those were on fire in the 80s.
And I was trying to show him because I got him these Master Universe, and he was really interested in those origin figures, Buzz Off and Mantina and stuff. I'm like, yo, look, with these Lincoln Logs, you can build your own base. You can build a jail to put them in, and then you can have Grizzlord come in and trash down the wall and, free. I'm like, again, he's like, you build it, and then I'll come destroy it. I'm like, okay, well, all right, you're 2, but you're gonna learn to do this on your own. I had shoe boxes lined up. And part of the creativity, like I think when I was 11, like I got my first, either 10 or 11, I got my first dirt bike. It was sometimes, end up down the road, go to a friend's house and be several miles from home and couldn't get it started. So like I needed to know how to work the choke and do all that, one, you're shifting gears and stuff. So I knew how to do all that. But like, is there too much choke, like how the, the fuel system and everything like that, at like 10, 11 years old, have to know that. Otherwise I'm rolling this dirt bike back 5 miles back to home. That is not going to be a fun ride, walk.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I will say this, dude. I mean, it's like, it's like where I live out here in the desert, there are kids out on dirt bikes and stuff, and that's good. But, at the end of the day, dude, things have, the dynamics have really changed. And you're right. I mean, the people that are buying what you see in our cabinet behind you and behind you, it's adults. It's not really the kids. It's not. Without us, this whole hobby would die. It's not because of the kids, dude.
That's where, like, we're not even talking like 10 years ago, like where they were coming out and saying like, collectors, y'all make up like less than 1% of it's all kids.
You catching this, Chris?
That I see in stores. Oh, did I break up again?
Yeah.
I think you were saying
I'm sorry.
For collectors, they're making up a tiny percentage.
Not even 8 years where they came out and said that we make up less than 1% of like their sales or something like that. And I was like, I don't believe that. I was like, I can go to any store, Walmart, Target, Toys R Us at the time, and it's all the adult stuff that we collect that is all sold out, hard to find, and instantly. And it's all the stuff that's meant for the younger kids that it's packed, not selling, just sitting on pegs and then goes on clearance. Yeah. And then still sitting in there too. So I didn't believe it was less than 1%. Back then, and I believe it's way more now. I believe we make up a huge portion.
Well, he backpedaled. What was it? Oh, it was one of their live streams. It was interesting because the high-ups of Hasbro and whatnot, they were saying that they do take in consideration of like the demand of figures. So they will look on eBay and things like that, see that like the after sales. So in question on their stream, what was it? It was Grimlock for what he actually sold on the shelf to what he sells now on eBay. Miles difference. So yeah, they do take in consideration for it's like, okay, nowadays collectors are a massive portion of the sales, and they just seeing that hang on, people buying these stuff and selling it for like maybe even twice as much. So without them saying for, collectors are a massive part of like our sales, they more or less said it in so many words, unless they have said it and someone proved me wrong or whatnot. All right, either way, help.
I'm gonna catch up on the comments here. Let's see. Reddy says $24 what I pay for the G1 Prime. So back then, $24 for Generation 1 Prime. Bill, do I remember Mervin's? And Randy says, I used to order Transformers through the Sears magazine. And Art says, JCPenney's had the best Christmas catalogs. I loved going through their toy section when I was a little. dude.
Yeah,
And there's a
he's
lot
right.
of Twitter accounts that like post pictures around Christmas time of like JCPenney's and Sears catalogs from the 80s, and like you just love to look through them. And guess what? Back then, the interns, they didn't know how to transform Transformers properly then either. So
Yeah.
those always stuff mistransformed in there. But to look back and see the prices and stuff like that is always fun. And then Randy says, I went to May the 4th at Target. There were no kids there.
Really?
You know, so
Oh, there you go.
and one other thing, I guess since like my Wi-Fi is not connecting really well here, let me get all these tabs off of here. I don't know if that'll help or not, but I'm gonna postpone any screen share today, and we'll just have a chat for the show.
Sweet.
Happy days.
Because I think that would be annoying to
Hank,
sit
I
there
know
and try to
you're-
screen share.
Aren't you a Washington Redskin fan?
No.
Oh, just messing with you. You're a Dallas Cowboys fan. I'm a Dolphins fan, man.
Dude, yeah, you got Jalen Ramsey this year. Dude, I hate that you let go of Mike Gesicki. That was my Penn State guy.
Yeah.
But I guess he didn't
He's
perform
gone.
very well
Patriots
this year.
now. Patriots.
Yeah. You got is Byron Jones still there? Or? No, he
he's-
retired, didn't he?
Yeah, he hurt himself and he tried to recuperate and it never happened. So they parted ways. So that's why we picked up Jalen Ramsey for sure.
Yeah.
Whose
Dude,
dog
like,
is that?
Byron Jones, like he was good for us, and like he was really coming together. And then free agency, and then we couldn't pay him because, dude, we were paying Zeke all that freaking money. Jeez, I'm so glad. Like people, whenever they were like, we have to let him go on Twitter, like everyone's like, oh God, we shouldn't do him like that. I'm like, he has declined.
Hit it again.
Just quick question: is this baseball or football?
This is football, American football.
Coming back.
Yeah,
Right.
so I'm a huge Miami Dolphins fan. Hex is a Dallas Cowboys fan. Yeah.
One random question.
Whenever I go into that, y'all can just talk amongst yourselves then.
Yeah, you were.
I
you
need
were
to ask this. Now, this is a British guy speaking to you Americans across the pond.
Yeah.
Why we call football because the foot always and only comes in contact with the ball. Why do you call it football, but you carry it with your hands?
Except for throw-ins and the goalie as well.
Yes.
You got to remember, I played soccer at a very high club level, so I'm very involved with soccer, or I used to be. So
Me too. Upper house. I played upper house as a kid. I was a center halfback.
Why is American football called football?
I mean, they just don't recognize. Whenever they came up with a sport, they didn't recognize that y'all called it FUTBOL over there. They didn't care.
I don't even know. I know how to kick a ball. Like that's about it. I generally don't watch it or anything. The only times I've ever really watched anything, put it this way, I've watched more American football than I have normal football. And the last time that I watched American football was when we were all at BotCon in 2016, and you showed me. I was just like, holy crap. And you were telling me about like all the rules and things like that when we had that like massive TV. But yeah.
What was that? I'm sorry, it cut out for me.
The last time that I seen any football was 2016 when we were all in BotCon, and we had that massive screen in our room, and you were going through like all the rules and things like that. That was the last time I seen any form of football. But it does look good. it's better than our like football, put it that way. It's
if you just like, hey, you don't really need to know the rules. You just want to see some like fantastic stuff, dude. Just watch Patrick Mahomes highlights. This dude is like throwing no look passes like 50 yards down the field. Like,
wow.
he's nuts. He's my favorite player. He's also that we loved him.
So yeah,
the hamster's getting tired, bro. For the internet.
So yeah, Blitzwing 5000 said, "Good question." It's like, well, it's a genuine question. I've never really understood it. It's the same as you'd think. Like we have rugby. Do Americans play rugby? Do you have rugby?
Not really. I mean, we're aware of it.
But like we and like the rest of the world play rugby, and then like Americans, they have like, well, I say they, you're right in front of me. You have American football, and there's like the same principle of game. It's just you've got shoulder pads on and different bits and bobs, but it's the same principle as carry the ball, run like crap, try not to die, and score some points and get drunk at the end, which is, yeah, that's rugby and American football, really.
You know what's it doesn't get talked about much, and it's not that entertaining, so I won't spend a whole lot of time. But I dated this girl one time that she played lacrosse, and like apparently that is dangerous because like she just has these sticks flying around your face all the time, like all over, and like she'd come like over and like have black eyes and stuff. I'm like, yeah, we were gonna go out tonight. We're not going to go out tonight. Like, I'm not going out with you, and you have a black eye, and then people start looking at me. Like, that's not happening. So I'm cooking here.
God, I do. How can I word it the most delicate way? I have respect for women who go into like contact sports and things like that. Yeah, I'll just leave it there. That's respectful. I'll do.
Randy Book says going to the shooting range is really a good time. I love it, dude. God, if I brought my my firearms like here on screen on camera, YouTube would probably strike me and cancel my videos or whatever.
They would strike you down with all their hate, dude, just like the Emperor, bro.
Dude, it's crazy, but yeah, man, I like going. I can go to the shooting range, or I can go to my dad's. So whenever I go to my dad's, he lives out in the country, and he's got a real big pond and a lot of land out there. So, and he's got some embankments, so that way when we shoot, like we know that it's not just gonna keep going, like it's gonna hit that embankment, and not gonna hit any strays on anyone, the neighbors far away, or animals we're not intentionally trying to, shoot or anything like that. So, but I've got my 380, my 9mm, my 223, 556, and my 22. So, dude, I love getting it into it with people on Twitter about guns, because they keep on. What was the latest thing,
dude?
They're like, it's like the AR-15, the bullets explode inside the body. I'm like, this is someone that doesn't know how bullets and guns work.
So. It's all yeah. I agree with you, bro. I mean, I live up here. I'm in the Sierra Nevadas. I'm up in the high desert. When I look to my left, I can see the pine trees, and that's California right by me, like literally 50 yards up. And then to my right is all sagebrush and juniper trees. And you can go out there and rip it off, bro. You can go out there on a side-by-side, or just drive up the street not too far from here, and you're out where you ain't seeing nobody, and you're just out there doing your thing. And like you said, Just make sure that you're posted up, usually on a hillside. You got to have a shovel and some water, and you're good to go, and we go out there and pop off rounds. My favorite's I love 308, bro. That's my round, man.
That's what I would probably do next.
Yeah.
So.
Get an A10, brother. I got one. I'm a huge fan of Springfield, man. They've got some killer stuff, bro. And
I've got a Springfield Saint is my 223 556.
That's my Springfield. I got that, and then I've got the St. Victor 308.
Okay. Yeah, I've got the Springfield Saint 223 556, and I've got the Smith and Wesson is it MPs 4222.
Yeah.
So basically both of those AR-15 style.
You need that St. Victor, man. Write that down, or the next time you're looking, check that out. It's an excellent 308 A10, man.
Okay. Dude, my favorite though is Glock 17 though. Yeah. I love it. It's my trusty.
Yeah.
So
just a quick thing. Art says he's gonna have to bow because he's gonna watch some sports entertainment WrestleMania. Okay. Nothing wrong with that, buddy. Wrestling's good.
Let's see. Catching up. Bill says Texans #1. Dude, how funny was it that the coach knew he was going to get fired, and last game of the season ended up winning that game, and then they ended up not getting the #1 draft pick because they won the last game of the season.
Crazy.
I was just like that was just like a big FU to the organization, because he knew he was going to get fired at the end of the season.
Who was that? Was that Levy Smith? That's who it was.
Yeah. Let's see. And Randy says, I had to buy a 2-door safe for my firearms, too many to keep laying around. He says he loves his Desert Eagle 50. Jeez. Springfield Hellion. And then Bill says he's got a 1911 and a Beretta 9mm. Also, I kind of want a 1911 as well, just because it's the classic.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I've even thought about buying some of the the old classic, the 22 handguns.
So
the West.
Yeah, so my grandfather passed me down some. I got a lever action ranch rifle from him. It's a Marlin. I think it's like a 19, or is it? It's some sort of weird. It's a Marlin, right? So it's a ranch gun, and it's a 357. And then he kicked me down I think it was a Ruger 357. I like the 357 round too. That'll do some damage, dude. That's a good weapon to have when you're out in the bush.
I think if guns were allowed over here, like properly, the first thing I'd buy, well, two things I'd buy. I'd buy a Barrett 50 cal rifle, because my second name's Barrett, so I can hold it, and technically it's playing with myself, yay. And then I'd probably get, well, not probably, I would absolutely get, is the Smith & Wesson 5000. It's I've only ever shot like one bullet from it, but I was like, man, I need this.
Yeah.
But we don't have anything over here.
Where's over there? Where are you in England?
We're not allowed nothing.
Nothing?
Yeah.
Nope.
Are you in the UK?
Yeah, UK.
Yeah, he's in Wales.
Okay.
See, also, like, when I was young, like, so I lived out on a lot of land, like we had about 1,000 acres. So working, on a ranch, you have cows out there. Well, there's a ton of bobcats, there's a ton of coyotes, and there's mountain lions.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at any point, you can run into this to where, like, I need to be here, to 12 years old, 13, 14, all the way up, until I left, after 18. Like, all through then, I need to know how to keep my dirt bike running and also drive a truck. I had, learned how to drive even before I turned 16. Know how to do that, but no, if I was on my dirt bike, because I couldn't get into the cab to stay safe. If I be out there, need to know how to operate a firearm and keep my wheels maintained. Because if you're just out there on all that land, out there with all those dangerous animals, you can run into some problems. So also, like in my dad's area, like he's always like, you need to come over and you spend the night, because we need to wake up at like 3 o'clock in the morning. These wild boar are just tearing up all his brush line and his garden and everything else like that. And those things, if they coming after you, you got to be accurate and put them down quickly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they will kill you.
Yeah.
So.
We've got, like, I'm right here, dude. Like, right where I live, there's a cul-de-sac, and then it's BLM land, and it just goes out for hundreds of miles, and it's all mule deer, chilkoot deer, because I'm right on the California border. There's chilkoot deer, there's mountain lion, bobcat, coyotes, you name it, dude. And there's nasty rattlesnakes here, too. You guys have rattlesnakes? We got
dude. Like, we got the barbecue place here. Like, as soon as you walk through the front door, they have it's whatever taxidermied, a rattlesnake lunging where they call it. So like here, like, man, I know Australia, like, Jesus, that is a death trap over there. But here in Texas, we got our Texas rattlesnakes, coral snakes are a big venomous one. Copperheads, because they hide in leaves, and just anywhere. And the other one, which is to me the most dangerous, is the water moccasin, because they're really aggressive. Like, you'll be out here on the lakes and you'll just be skiing or something like that, and like if you ski and all of a sudden, like, the boats, they'll raise up like some brush or whatever that's been under the water, that'd be a water moccasin nest, and you're dead. Because they will chase you. There's times where on our lake, you just be walking the trail by the edge of the lake, and these suckers would see you and then start chasing you. Like, they chase after you. Like, a lot of the snakes, like, they scare you, you scare them too, and they'll kind of dart off. Like, they don't want any confrontation. Water moccasins, they come after you. They are looking to fight.
Aggressive.
So, yeah. So those are the ones that always scared us. And then again, I didn't think about this when we were kids. We'd just be out in the lake. Yeah. Meanwhile, on our lake, we had 2 alligators and that we know of, and then a bunch of water moccasins. So, and those suckers, they can be anywhere from a foot long to 6 feet long. So just crazy snakes.
I know we've got snakes over here. I'm just not sure what. Like, it's nothing like really bad, like bloody anacondas or rattlesnakes. But I know we do have some. Just
and also, and I even live in town, but like, we have a corner house, so where the drain goes, like in between the houses on each side on a block, and then it comes around back by our backyard. And then we have a pool too. So in the summer, all those water moccasins are washing down, and we're the last stop. So they all come here. And then, hey, we have a pool too. So they're like, awesome. It's like a little resort for them. So you got to be careful every time before you get in the water.
Mm-hmm.
So,
gosh,
the cat too. She used to pick up little baby snakes and drop them up under my mother and grandmother's feet. Thinking,
how is your cat now, by the way?
She's a little better. I mean, she's just really old. Yeah. So, let's see. Randy says, let's see the Walter PPQ SIG 45 1911 Colt Beretta X92 Performance. I heard a lot of good things about SIGs. And I think a 45 would be it would be good to have out in the wilderness. Like, if you're going to carry your sidearm, 45 would be preferred over like a 9mm. You definitely wouldn't bring out a 380.
I'll take a 308. I'll take a 308 all day long. If you have an A10, dude, that's set up sweet and you got a nice scope on it or whatever your gig is, 308 is going to do the trick. 308, drop bore, drop a bear. 308.
Randy, your toy collecting mentality into buying guns. Dude, I get into a lot of hobbies. I noticed that about myself, and then once I start getting to something, I get more into it. Like I'm big into sports or whatever.
Yeah.
Always have been. Like before toy collecting, let's see. Like I was in, at an early age, I was in, motorcycles and my dirt bikes and stuff like that. And then when I turned 18, then, I got a JDM car, and then I started, getting it all JDM'd out. Went to car show stereo competitions, joined a car club, and did all that. Dude, it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Heck yeah.
Then whenever I got out of that, my big manager job, or first manager job, like getting into retail. Worked for some shoe companies, was regional or district sales manager there. So I would get discount, 40% off on shoes. So I would buy tons of shoes. And so I was into like shoe collecting and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
it changes. So like even now, like I like my car. It's an older car. It's an 04, but it's a rare car that I like a lot, and I've done a few things to it, keep it nice. I like my guns. I like my sports. I like my video games. I like my toy collecting, so.
You know what I'm into, bro? I got into, in the early 2000s, I got into sound systems, man. I love surround sound. I love having killer speakers. I love having, an amp, a sub. I just love sound, man. Like
home theater or car.
I've got some Kanto YU6s in the other room. I got some Kanto tugs. I invested in definitive technology solution, or definitive technology. That's what it was for the.
That's what I have.
Do you?
Yeah, that's what I have in this room. That's what these back speakers are here.
You have definitive?
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Nice.
Yeah, I remember I went to so like some of the Best Buys, they have the Magnolia rooms or whatever.
Yes.
And so like my old surround sound system, like the first one that you ever buy when you're like 20 or something like that, which you lived in an apartment at the time, you didn't really need one too powerful or whatever. You buy the built in a box, surround sound, and it does fine or whatever.
Yeah.
But whenever it was like, okay, this is pretty much done, and going to be in a house, or I think at the time a townhome, to where I was like, I got one neighbor really, and they're not there, because I work it overnight, and the whole thing is like when I'm awake and we're going to be watching or doing anything, they're not home, and whenever they'd be home, I wouldn't be home, I'd be at work. So like I'm not going to bother them. And now in a house, I'm not going to bother anyone. So
no.
So I was like, when I went in there, I was like, yeah, so surround sound system, and how much you want to spend? I'm like, I want good quality, So I was like, I don't want to say that I'm wanting to spend $20,000 for surround sound system, but at the same time, like these are all kind of cheap to me. He was like, all right, let me take you into this one room. And then he was like, dude, these definitive technology, he was like crisp, just for movies, listening to music. He was like, what music you listen to? I was like, rock, and stuff like that. He was like, these, and so I did that. I did have to upgrade my sub. I don't know, something happened to it. So I ended up getting an even bigger sub.
I went hard into the definitive technology, dude. Like in 2004, I went in and I bought their flagship tower speakers. They're about 100 pounds each, and they had 12 powered subs on each side. And I went hard. And I got a couple of other tower speakers for the backside. So I got the mains, the BP 7001s and the 7002s on the backside, and I still have them today. And for my master bedroom, I got some tower speakers and their center speaker and a sub, and it still kicks. It still kicks, man. That just goes to show, just like with firearms, if you take care of your stuff, it'll work, dude. And definitive technology it's a unique speaker because it has bipolar on the backside. So on the bigger speakers, it has the sound coming out here and then the same set on the backside, so where it's like hitting the wall and bouncing up and coming over.
Yeah.
It's called bipolar.
Basically kind of the same effect of like where you place your sub is very important. You want to place it up against the wall in the corner, the way you're getting the most out of it. I remember stereo, like I said, I did stereo competitions. I remember what I hit SPL. So I don't know if you know, decibels SPL. So with 210s, and like I just didn't have, like I didn't do the whole, I'm just gonna get subwoofer. Like I had all the interior done with, all swapped out speakers, high end, and amp those, and then I had my amp for my 210s. And the car I had at the time was a 98 Mitsubishi Eclipse. So those speakers, they hit off that back hatch and then sent the sound forward. So like it just intensified it. And I hit 143.3, 143.4 dB's SPL. So, and it was just like my buddy would beat me, but he also had an Eclipse, but he had a wall of 615s, and I don't know, like 4 amps and like 2 caps and another battery. And like, he was like 10 decibels louder than me. And I'm like, dude, I still got my back seat and I could still load groceries in the back. And I just got 210s. Like, dude, you have 2 seats and a wall. Now his did feel different because I feel like my heart was about to jump out of my chest. Like it was crazy. So
that's crazy.
But yeah, that was a lot of fun times. So it seems like no matter what you're into, like you could just be into something, as like you can always find a way to blow your money on stuff. But like if you enjoy it, then to where like I don't blow my money on stuff that like I don't care about. Like I got some nice clothes, but like my mom and my family, they make fun of me because like I have this hoodie that I've had for like 20 years or something like that. It's got holes in it and stuff like that. The cuffs are all stretched out. I'm like, you have like 50 hoodies. I'm like, yeah, but this is the most comfortable one. So I just wear it all the time. Like if I'm going out somewhere, I'll put something else on. But I was like, I like this one. And I even have shirts that I'm like, yeah, I've had these for like 20 years. And like, why don't you get rid of them? I'm like, it's not that I don't have new shirts. Just these are nice. Like same thing with shoes. Like I've always taken good care of my shoes. So I've got shoes that are like 25 years old. So
it's the same for me. It's like, I got so many like jackets and coats. Half of them don't even fit me anymore. But it's like I know that at some point I will lose a bit of weight and I will fit into it. But also on the other hand, it is just comfy. It's like my comfy blanket. It's like I put something on and it's just like, there we go. Back to the good old days.
Yeah, whenever I lived in Dallas, one of my friends, his wife was the Southwest representative for Adidas. And so like all these Adidas employees, they would have like a private cell. So like they get all these samples, right? So they showed like they would take, like Adidas would come to whatever store. Like I said, she was a Southwest representative. They would go to all these stores like, hey, this is a new line that we're getting. So like stuff that was going to come out the next year, she would have samples of it, and like on the tag, like everything would be perfect except for on the tag it would say sample, not for resale, right? And it would be, the next year's clothing lines and stuff, and just be like, hey, do you want these? Yeah, we'll take this and this many for our corporation, because it was in Frisco where a lot of corporations are, in the DFW area. And so she would sell those, and then at the end she would keep whatever she wanted. Like she would give some to her husband, maybe cousins, nephew, and then she would also, I was big into it, so she would give me whatever I want, and then whatever I didn't want, then she would bring it into like a sample sale to where there would be like $100 Adidas jackets, $3, $5.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. So I would even go there because like other representatives would come in there, and I'm like, I'll take that. Like I remember they came out with a green Porsche jacket, or I don't know if they ever actually came out with it, but like I got that, and like for free. They made 2 snowboarding jackets. I don't know if Adidas ever came out with snowboarding jackets, but this was before this. These were the first ones. They had a gray one, which is in Morocco, because that went to their brother-in-law. Because my buddy, he was from Morocco, and there was a blue one, and I got the blue one. So I keep it. It's the only snowboarding jacket I have, even though there's no snow in Texas.
I'd imagine if you ever wanted to sell that as well, like you would get probably a lot of money.
Yeah, and all the like I said, all the tags say sampled, not for resale.
Yeah.
So it was like those were the only 2 that they had, and so she had them down here. So again, they probably came out with snowboarding stuff eventually, but those were their first attempts to get into it. So like I've got a bunch of stuff like that. Soccer balls, like tons of them, or you would call them footballs. Like they would have the Premier, like so Adidas, like top end soccer ball, which was like, I don't know, like $150 or something like that at the time. Like, here you go for free. Champions League,
Gosh.
stuff. So my brother, I had it for a long time, never messed with it. My brother came over one time because they all play soccer, both my brothers, and they took it and just took it out of one of my closets and just kicked it around and scuffed it all up. Like
nice.
Like just some $10 soccer ball. So that was nice. Yeah.
I would have just gone mental.
We got a little bit more time here. I mean, if y'all want to talk some more toys or stuff, or people in the chat, y'all have anything you want us to discuss? Because I know that we've just kind of been talking about whatever. We started off with toys, and then we started talking about football, guns, and shoes, and all
We've
kinds
covered
of stuff.
boomers versus zoomers, basically. Hating on kids and stuff like that. It hasn't been too bad, considering like back in the day we used to like be proper organized with what was it, like Aftercast, and then the Aftercast turned into Galactic Gumbo, which I miss. I dearly miss Galactic Gumbo. That show was awesome.
Just a chill show.
Yeah, well, it's just like this. We would have like maybe, I don't know, like 2 or 3 topics is like the foundation, and then just run free.
Well, talk to me, Hex, about your collection there behind you. I mean, that's pretty impressive with your Star Wars collection. I can see Darth Vader, Boba Fett, Kylo Ren. It looks like Darth Maul, and then you got Ahsoka back there. That's those are all Hot Toys, right? So
yeah,
everything else
just Hot Toys there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've got Hot Toys, some NECA Play Arts Kai stuff here at the bottom. Black Series goes this way with G.I. Joe. And then kind of got still some Overwatch stuff, Beast Saga, Voltron, NECA Gargoyles, Transformers over there. I realized that I haven't done a room tour. July will be 2 years, which I was like, I think whenever I did it, I was like, hey, I'm doing one of these things like every 6 months. And like now I look at it, I'm like, dude, that was 2 years ago.
Can you pivot your camera or no?
Yeah, let's see. So got that with some
Nice.
art and stuff.
Nice.
What's that
uh,
poster?
The Killing Joke.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, some stuff hanging up there. And then like boxes that I haven't opened yet. I've got these set up to where I need to set and sticky tack some of these. Some of them start falling over, so that I get them all uniformed, kind of like this one here. That one looks nice.
Yeah.
Let's
Got a nice
see.
collection. Look at that, dude. That's rad.
So got some more Star Wars in there. Over there, I'm going to be doing GI Joes. Like I said, I got a ton of boxes, like stuff that I haven't even opened yet.
Yeah.
I got stuff over here that I haven't even set up in the GI Joes. Over there, that's where I had the Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain there. But you see, I put them in the boxes because I'm going to try to take them to a toy show that's in Dallas and see if I can sell them there.
Nice.
This one my cat likes to sit. Well, she actually tries to sit in my lap every time I'm playing video games. I'm just like, no. Like if I'm watching TV or something, fine, you can get in my lap. But like these got the US. They're a little more, but got the Italian leather, USB, electronic.
Yeah.
Movie theater seats and stuff. Let's see. Over there, there's the Transformers. In that corner, got that. I forget what that rug's called. I forget, but it's Star Wars or whatever. I've got my. Let's see.
Oh yeah,
Definitive and 65 inch
collection, dude.
Yeah, it's 65 inch, and then some of the gaming figures down there, and then Marvel Legends over there, and then there's the Kylo Ren 1/1 scale, and then over here, we've got a Batwing hanging, a Batmobile, some DC stuff, Hot Toys Batman, some Batmobiles, and then NECA Turtles throughout there, and DC animated stuff. I don't know. It's hard to see all that down there, but those are the like DC icons, DC animated series stuff.
You gotta, so your collection is much bigger than what you see on screen, bro.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just this one wall here, so yeah. I got. Let's see, is this no? So I like some of the art, and I've been thinking about what to do with this wall here, but I don't know.
You see that right there?
Stuff.
You see that picture right there? That's custom frame. That's Frank Frazetta's Death Dealer. That was on the cover of Molly Hatchet. And do you guys know who Frank Frazetta is?
Couldn't tell you.
I've heard that. I've seen that image before, though.
Yeah, probably. You probably saw it at a poster shop and whatnot when we were kids. But Frank Frazetta is famous for his stuff with. I don't know if you can see that Conan right there above my desktop.
Yeah,
that's Frank Frazetta. He's known for his fantasy art. He's amazing, dude. He's one of a kind, man. You should check him out. But yeah, I'm into art too, man. I love art. It's pretty cool to have the collections that we have. We're lucky, because like that kid was saying, or whoever was saying, this could all stop in 2 or 3 years, 5 years, I mean, but I think we're at the height of our collecting days right now. Do you guys?
Yeah, I think if you got into it, because like someone had, well, real quick, I'll answer this and then I'll get to what Bill was saying. That like if you got into it maybe a few years back, I think the perfect timing would have been get in it whenever Masters of the Universe Classics had just started. I think that would have been the perfect time. Because like those all very very collectible, very expensive. Even though they're coming out with these new revelations or whatever like that, some of them look cool. But like I got into the Filmation classics to where I'm like, those don't really go. Like I can't just, I want that Too Bad, but I can't buy that Too Bad in Stinkor because those are characters that I love that are missing, but I can't put those with these Filmation looking ones because they'll stick out. Like if I put Thundercats with Transformers, like it's just not going to look right.
Yeah.
But I think like I said, like I probably got into collecting probably in like 2011 or something like that. To where I'm like, all the really good Transformers have been coming out in the past few years. To where you could look at it and be like, dude, that is the version that I want. Like taking for example, we got Skylinks a few years ago, like that little Voyager one. And even when you looked at it, you're like, hey, we're finally getting a Skylinks, but dude, this ain't really Skylinks. You know, like you're trying to implement that Combiner Wars thing with them, where it was like, it's not the real Skylinks. To where the one that they came out with, that's the Hasbro one, right?
No, this is the Mastermind Creations.
Oh,
okay. So, like as far as Hasbro, like the one that they came out with, which is that real big one as well. Like to me, like that is a good Skylinks.
Yeah.
You know, the latest Optimus Prime that they came out with, you know, I'm talking about, you know, the Chug or Classic, whatever line you want to call it. Like that's a good one. That Jetfire that they came out with, you know, we got one previous, you know, few years prior to that was kind of an IDW one, and that one was like, oh, that's pretty cool, you know, finally a Jetfire. But this newest one that they came out with, like, dude, that's money.
Yeah.
This was money too. The Fans Toys.
Oh, that's the Fans Toys one, yeah.
It's amazing, dude. It's perfect. I love it. I love Fans Toys.
And even with like Star Wars, like not having to buy all of them, but like you could cherry pick and you would be able to get in at the beginning to get what you wanted. Like if you just started in the past like 10 years. Marvel Legends, like I'm only into X-Men and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like I started with the Juggernaut wave.
One thing I will say, Dave, now, I don't know how familiar you are, but over the years, I have been known to do drop tests and things like that. How confident are you of getting your Fans Toys from, we'll say about 4 foot, maybe 5 foot off the ground drop test? Would you feel comfortable?
No.
See, with this, I would. Hence.
Is that the Takara?
Yeah. And he's fine.
Yeah. No, Fans Toys.
That's why I like it. I was going to get a Fans Toys one, but when it just came down to it, I just thought, oh, it's probably just going to be probably better quality in some ways because it does look that good. But then, I don't know. I just got to official.
Let me ask you guys this, each one of you. What is your most anticipated Masterpiece Transformers to release next?
I have been waiting. Josh will know this many, many, many years ago now. Back in the days, the old days of Aftercast and things like that. I have been waiting since Josh said that we're going to get a Galvatron. And I've been waiting every single year for the day where it comes and when Josh goes, see, I told you guys, we got it. But
dude, that's the only reason they haven't done it is they're doing it to spite.
Yeah,
real quick
they
on the
clearly
comments.
watch the show.
Real quick on the comments. Bill asked, Chris, what is up with that bathrobe behind you? I asked.
Do you know what?
A while back.
Honestly, it's been there for like
it
so
goes with-
long. I just
It
forget
goes
it's
with the
there.
collection room.
Yeah,
Like here's
baby.
all these nice and beautiful stuff, and then
Yeah.
here's just a bathrobe, like
Yeah.
just sitting in the middle of it.
The last time I wore that, right, was, I shit you not, probably about 6 months ago. And it's just still hanging there. It's like I don't put it in my wardrobe, but or is it behind? It's just a mirror. So it's not like hiding anything. But I mean, it's nice. It's nice, but nothing special. As we were talking about comfy blanket, I guess this is one of my comfy blankets. But yeah, I wish I had
let's see.
something interesting to say about it.
Randy says he's got about 6 billies just with the Black Series. Bill says Siege Jetfire is pretty good. Also says no, don't drop it, Chris. But I guess that is too late. And Randy says I want to finish.
Oh, now
the
you say
damn-
don't drop it.
Don't do
Randy
it, dude.
says he wants to finish the damn Fans Toys combiners.
Yeah.
And Blitzwing Bill says he needs a masterpiece Blitzwing.
Yeah.
I guess a proper. So,
Well, one
I don't
thing I
know.
will
Did
say
Fans Toys
after
ever
about this, from dropping this, Jazz came out, which technically is the only official masterpiece Jazz we've got. I don't know where it came out of.
Do you guys mess around with the third party combiners like DX9 Menasor here?
Ah, yeah.
I
never got
quit on third party. I think I have.
Look at
sold
this
all of it.
back. And look at this custom back that I had this filler created, dude, rather than the diesel sticking out. Do you see that?
Oh, so
What does
it
it
didn't
look
come
like
that.
without the back?
Yeah.
Was it just like a back plate for just tabs in, or?
Yeah, it's a black. This piece right here is 3D printed, painted black, and it fits perfectly in where the semi would be hanging out. But that's a, and then I also, I don't know if you can tell, but I painted his eyes. Like,
Oh
red.
yeah,
Oh,
I
I
can
see him
see.
red.
You see him?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like the LED gimmicks. Don't get me wrong. But they should always paint the eyes because the LED will accent the eyes. And when you give it dead eyes, that's lame, man.
No, Josh hasn't had a great experience with it. Oh, what was Bold Forms, was it? If memory serves correct.
I actually have a Bold Forms. God, what is it? A test shot. Actually, I have the full thing to. That's the only third party figure that I have now. Is this Bold Forms original test shot that the owner gave me. Like I have all the pieces to make it the gun and the tank and all that. Yeah, but it's the original test shot.
Wow.
So like the very first one. So that's why it's like different colors and stuff like that.
See, I can remember that, but you asked me what I had for breakfast yesterday. I couldn't tell you.
I used to have the original test shot of the
Menasor, was it?
Motor Master as well. I sold that. And then when he gave me this, he was like, please don't sell that one. Because he's like, this one's truly a gift and this is special to me and I want to give it to you. I was like, all right. But I forget how much I sold that Bold Forms Motor Master for. Let's see. Randy says that's all he buys is third party. So like David, you and Randy Books would probably get along good and have some good conversations, man.
Yeah.
Talking just third party and stuff. I don't know if he has that Menasor. Did you 3D print that yourself and make that, or was it something you bought off something?
Yeah, no, I bought it off a dude off eBay and whatnot. But it's like the same thing for Menasor's. The fact that his cars are on his shins, right? That's how I like it. But that didn't come like that from DX9. So I had to contact this gentleman named Sean in the UK who came out with these gray panels or whatever that snapped into Menasor's shins so I could put the cars on the front because that's the way I wanted it, right? So it's like, it's crazy how many like little, how innovation is pretty cool with these 3D printers, right? These people who put these thoughts into it. I can't sit there and, I don't have enough time to put that much thought into it. There are people out there that do it. And I think it's awesome that they share their skill sets with people that want that upgrade, right? I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, because you got to think that's got to take a lot of time to get the measurements and everything, because it's got to be right. And then you print it off, and if anything's off by just a centimeter, then like you got to redo the entire thing.
And I want to show you something that you might. Do you follow Did you follow Clone Wars and Rebels?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh yeah. In Star Wars, yeah.
So I just got this not too long ago, and this is like a new body too from Hot Toys, and it's got some significant weight. But I love Bo-Katan.
Oh, Bo-Katan, yeah.
What they did for her. Look at that, bro. Oh, isn't that awesome?
Hell. That is good.
Is it coming across good on the video?
Yeah.
It's coming across, The detailing. Is that dry brushing on the helmet?
I don't know. It's Hot Toys, man. It's incredible. I mean, it's where they've came from and where they're at today is just like, again, it's the height of their height, and what they're doing is unbelievable. But that's another subject we could talk about. I don't know if you guys have been watching Mandalorian, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I will say this. I fought Clone Wars for the longest time, and I fought Rebels, just saying, oh, it's a cartoon, blah, blah, blah. But I tell you, that really fleshed out so many things, so many answers that you thought about but didn't know. I mean, what an incredible job the Clone Wars did as a cartoon and Rebels. Would you agree?
Yeah, Rick and I, we talk about this a lot. Like Dave Filoni, like if there is one person that is working on Star Wars that I trust, that has like putting the fans number one in, like as a fan himself, and it's not just like, how can I sell the most this and this, it's how can I give fans exactly what they deserve.
Yes,
I think he is the man.
He is the man. He's the man.
And so, anything that he's attached to, like I will be down to watch it or get involved with it in some way or form.
So I wanted to ask you guys, and it's like I had to kind of taken a hiatus. I grew up with the Star Trek line, the Star Trek reruns with William Shatner and all that stuff, and I liked a couple of their movies, and then I kind of watched The Next Generation. I thought that was pretty cool. I kind of skipped on Voyager, what I'm going to revisit, and then I watched DS9, but I've been watching Picard, and Picard season 3 has been amazing. I don't know if you guys are watching it, but I love it.
I'm not a Star Trek person. Like I just could not get into it. Now, the J.J. Abrams movies, I watched those. I enjoyed them for I look at it as because like people would say, like, well, this is when I went to go watch the Star Trek movies again, like I said, I'm not involved in it at all. Like I get bored with it. So I'm not saying that it's boring, because it may be just incredibly interesting to someone else. I know Sport, he loves it, but to me, it was boring to me. So I couldn't get into it. I didn't watch it. But whenever I went to go see the J.J. Abrams ones, of course, like there's going to be some more, stuff going on. I look at it as me enjoying that is the way that people aren't really big Transformer fans like us. But they went to go see those Michael Bay Transformer movies, and they absolutely loved them. Where me, I'm like, this isn't really completely accurate.
That was such a turnoff to me, man. I was so disappointed. I had such high hopes. It is what it is. It took a totally different U-turn, if you will, as what I envisioned when I first heard about J.J. Abrams and Transformers. But it really took. It was really disappointing for me, man.
Bill said, did your jet fire break, Chris? I told you not to drop it.
No, I just can't remember how I posed them really good in there. It's like, because there's so many like ratchets and like positions of it. and I'm really anal when it comes into like positioning stuff, and I need to get it just right. So I'm like trying.
Yeah, and Randy says Star Wars would be in the toilet without those two guys. Talking about Dave Filoni and John Favreau. So,
did you ever get into the Predators line, dude, with the Hot Toys, bro, when you were collecting?
not Hot Toys. I did have some NECA ones, and every third one would break.
Yeah.
So I was just like,
Look at
washing
that.
my hands with it.
Isn't that decent?
I think the Predators look awesome. I like the first movie. I don't mind Predator 2. It's all right. But it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't necessarily need the action figures for.
Right.
Like there's a lot of stuff I enjoy, because I remember whenever they were coming out with like action figures for like every TV series, coming out. God, I forget what it was.
Look at that right there. It's John Matrix, bro.
Dude, they nail them on the face sculpts.
Do you guys? Any of you guys collect the anime super robots?
Super robots. Are you talking about
like let's say,
I can't think of the name.
Here's Shin Getter from CCS.
Oh, those
Toys.
ones. Okay.
Shin Getter,
I don't
Gurren
own those.
Lagann. Did you guys ever watch any of those animes when you were kids?
I didn't watch any anime. I used to on my G1 reviews always refer to the G1 cartoon as anime, just because I knew it would piss off some people, and they're like, that's not anime. I'm like, what is anime? And they're like, it's Japanese animation. I'm like, where do you think this was animated at?
Yeah.
I was like, this is original. This is a Japanese animation here.
Yeah.
I was like, Voltron, like that's not anime. I'm like, it is literally Japanese animation. Like they wanted when they ordered it, they ordered the car robots. They ended up sending them the lion robot version.
Yeah.
Instead, and they just was like, all right, well, let's just go with it.
They just went with it, huh?
Yeah, and which was a good choice.
Yeah.
So, Mazinger Z, yeah, Bill, that's what I thought he was talking about. And so, no, I never watched any of that. The Gundam stuff, I never really watched any of it either.
No, me neither. I got into Get a Robo. They've got this OVA storyline that's a little bit more updated and whatnot. But I collect all the Super Robot Chikoken line from the anime, Japanese anime, I should say. And quite a bit of metal builds. I'm a big fan of Gundam. Yeah, so that's kind of that's my shtick there. I also collect statues, and I wanted to talk to you guys about statues. I don't know if you guys collect statues, but they've gone up so much of late, and the shipping costs are ridiculous. Do you guys collect statues by chance?
I don't. Rick has some, and a lot of the times, like he'll buy like these big, like I don't know what you call them, like signature masterpiece statues or whatever, and like he'll buy them for several $100s and then hold on to them and enjoy them whatever for a few years and then sell them for a few $1,000s.
Dang. Yeah.
I remember like he was telling me, I was like, yeah, I've got this Ventress one that I paid like $300 or $400 for and sold it for like $2,000 or something. I forget exactly what the number was, but it was crazy, like the return on it, because like we made them, here they are, and then like that's it, you know, and then nobody wanted to get rid of them, because they were beautiful. So
well, the reason why I ask is, I have quite a few statues in the house, including black and white statues. But my new statues, because of the price going up and whatnot, and these aren't cheap either, but I'm totally sold on the quarter scale Hot Toys line, man. I mean, I've got Darth Vader, Mandalorian, Spider-Man. What else do I have? The Joker, the Dark Knight. I mean, I love the quarter scale Hot Toys line. Is amazing. It's amazing. Have you seen one in person, Hex or Chris?
I haven't seen a single Hot Toys in person.
Or not the quarter scale statues. I haven't seen in person.
They're not statues. They're figures that move.
Oh, you're talking about the quarter scale figures.
Yeah.
I've seen some of them in one of the Dallas toy stores that I've gone to.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing. Look at this right here. This is probably my favorite one. The quarter scale Hot Toys Darth Vader. Look at his cape, dude. It's insane.
Wow.
He's amazing. He lights up, fully posable. He comes with the Sebastian Shaw face sculpt, which I don't have on, obviously, but this comes off. Boom. And you can see the backside. Isn't that crazy?
I forget if my 1/6 scale. I know the top comes off the 1/6 scale that I have. Got the Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
And it's
you do?
deluxe. Yeah, I've got the Empire Strikes Back deluxe Vader.
But look how big that
1/6
is,
scale.
dude. Isn't that crazy?
Mm.
He's huge. He's like 19 inches. You know, it's amazing.
Well, he needs to be. He's a freaking giant, and well, he should be.
Yeah.
See, Randy says he builds the 160 perfect grade Gundams.
He does?
He's never seen the cartoons. Yeah, so he collects third party Hot Toys and
You build the
160 perfect grade
things,
Gundams.
but you've never seen the cartoons. My personal opinion, like a lot of people, depends on who you'll speak to. They'll say that, well, you have to start right from the beginning to watch Gundam and whatever. I started off growing up watching Gundam Wing, and I felt like from watching straight off that, I missed so many different series beforehand, but it didn't feel like I missed any series. It was the perfect starter for me. So if you're gonna start anything, start on Gundam Wing.
Oh, Bill, are you in the chat? Bill, let me know if you're in the chat. Me and I don't know if Bill watches Gundam or anything like that. But we played this Gundam game on PlayStation, and we can't pronounce any other names correctly. Okay, yeah, Bill's here. So we can't pronounce any of their names correctly. So there's one of them we just call ass hairs because it's like it starts with an A and it kind of resembles that. So
It's so funny.
So we're doing call outs and we're like, dude, ass hairs, he's on B. Ass hairs on B. And like it's like there's flying bitch.
So that's a perfect grade Gundam right there that I built. I built him, the blue Astray, the granddaddy of all, the RX-78-2, the Strike Freedom. Actually, yep, I have the Strike Freedom, and then also the new Unleashed, which is the new technology, which is insane. But these perfect grades are amazing, man. If you have the patience and you want to do them up, they're incredible.
Let's see, I forget which ones. I think I did some perfect grades, but they weren't 160s. They were like whatever, the 144 or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got quite a bit of Gundams in here. I love Gundams. I got that Blitzwave Voltron too, which is amazing.
Oh, I heard that is. Dude, I had the Masterpiece Voltron for a while, and I was just like, dude, this is not a masterpiece because like the arms, they wouldn't stay pegged in. Like it was all die cast. It was like, but the connection points, it was like for the black line, they were die cast, but then on your green and red line, the connection points were plastic, so they would just always fall out. Like you
Yeah.
just walk in there and like look over at it, and you'd see like your red and green line laying on the floor, and your Voltron armless. I'm like,
This
yeah, I got to get rid
This
of this.
thing, dude, this is from Blitzway. This thing's like almost like 16, 17 inches, and it probably weighs about 10 pounds. It's amazing, dude. This is the definitive Voltron right now, period. You can't say otherwise. I have the Soul of Chikokin one too, but this one is the best of the best. And I've had quite a few. I've had some third-party Voltrons. Blitzway nailed it, but it came with a cost, bro. It wasn't. It was very expensive.
Yeah, weren't they? Yeah, I was gonna say, aren't they very expensive?
Yeah, it was about $700.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, it killed me. So I had to sell some things and taper off for a little bit. But I will say that I have zero regrets with this Voltron. It is insane. It came with all the figures too, the ones that sit inside and the ones that stand outside. And you've got this huge arena that it builds out. I don't have that out right now, but this is insane.
Like, I don't know where you're at on your collecting, but like I said, I only have so much room.
Yeah.
Like I start looking at stuff like my NECA turtles, all them. Like I feel like I'm just about done. Like there's not very many characters that they're gonna release where I'm like, I gotta get those.
I'm very close.
My DC stuff, like I've got my animated series guys. I got my DC icons. I'm pretty good with that. Transformers, I'll pick up what I want going forward with that. G.I. Joe, I'm kind of into that right now. The Black Series, I'm like, unless it's key, I'm not getting it, So like to where it's Marvel Legends, dude, it's just about done. There's only a couple characters that I really want them to do. And once they do them, I'll pick those up, and then I'll be done with that too.
I'm close.
I can look at it and be like, I'm done with this. Like I'll still enjoy it. I'll still talk about it and stuff like that. And I'll look at stuff that's new, but it like I think longer the days where I'm like, all right, time to sell off this whole portion of the collection, because that's how I kind of started off, was like vintage. Like I had Air Raiders, I had Sky Commander or Starcom, Sky Commanders, an Air Raider collection, a Thundercat collection, G1 Transformers.
What was the other robot stuff you used to collect? What were they called? You had like loads of other robots.
Brave.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I had several Brave ones, and to where I was like, you know what? Like so many good things were coming out that were made modern, with modern articulation and like a scale that I like, 6-inch scale, to where I was like, I think I'm just gonna get to the modern stuff. Oh, that's nice.
That's a good one.
I've got both of them, bro. I picked up the evil version of Hot Toys Superman and the one with his Fortress of Solitude. But my favorite, this one right here, is the evil Superman. His costume's a little bit darker. His skin tone's a little bit darker. I like it.
You can definitely see like around his eyes.
Yeah, he's incredible. But I know, Hex, that you're a huge Batman fan. Did you pick this up? Did you pick up the DX19 from Hot Toys?
I did not get that. I just have the Batman Returns Hot Toys.
This is
Michael
incredible.
Keaton.
They're doing a quarter scale of this too.
I wouldn't have room for it.
Yeah. But are you doing the 89 Batmobile? I am.
Yeah, I got the Batmobile on pre-order.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw something with a Batwing. I'm like, dude, where on earth would that even go? Like, I'm
It's
having to
way too
sell
big.
like Snake Mountain and Castle Grayskull and Point Dread just to have room for the Batmobile. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, you could
and once I
like
sell it, it'll pay for it too. So, which that'll be nice.
you could hang the Batwing from ceiling, but then you've got that forever fear of like, what happens if it
Nah, I
drops?
wouldn't even do that. I mean,
Mm.
I've got the Batwing from the animated series hanging from the ceiling, and that took 4 toe points. So
This is also highly, you know what? This was like underrated, dude. This Batgirl is amazing.
I've got the Play Arts Kai version of that one.
Nice. Look at it. That it's got rooted hair, which is kind of rare for Hot Toys.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
It's amazing.
I've got 2 Play Arts Kai. So I've got that one from the Arkham games, and then I've got one that's kind of a stylized looking version. So whenever the Hot Toys one came out, I'm like, I'd rather have that one, but like, I'm kind of cool with the 2.
And you got to have the obligatory Joker,
Yeah.
Mark Hamill.
It's the only Jokers I really care about are just the Mark Hamill ones.
I think Jack Nicholson Joker's good. Heath Ledger's a good Joker. We've
oh,
had
yeah.
some good
God.
Jokers, man.
I got that in art one that's coming. Have you seen the in art? Have you looked at that?
Maybe I don't remember. I think so.
So in art is a subsidiary of Queen Studios. Do you know Queen Studios that does statues? So they're jumping into the 1/6 scale market, and they're doing a Joker, the Batman from the Batman, you know, and the Lord of the Rings stuff, and it looks just like Hot Toys.
Randy said he's got the Arkham Tech Batman from Hot Toys, and it's cool.
Nice.
Oh, he also says if that Batwing goes up, I'm getting it.
You know what I got? You know which Batwing I got, bro? So I skipped. So that the one you were talking about, the one that was like $1,800, that was from a company called Jazz Inc. And Jazz Inc. competes with Hot Toys. But I picked up there's a, if you guys go on to the McFarlane website, they had the Batmobile that sold out super quick. I grabbed that. And then they also have a Batwing that is like 36 inches, blah, blah, blah. And you can wall mount it on your wall. And
I saw that. Yeah. We looked at that.
Yeah.
I was almost thinking about it for this wall over here.
God, wouldn't that look awesome, bro?
How big is it?
It's pretty big. It's pretty big. I'll look it up right now while you guys are talking.
But yeah, it has a wall mount, Chris. I think we looked at it last Cybercast. Like we screen shared and looked at it to where it had like little wall mounts, like kind of like to hold a lightsaber. Like it had that, but to hold the Batwing so you could mount it on the wall. So, which is the only way I know you could. That's the only way I know you could probably display it anyway. So it's not like you can set that sucker on the ground. You know.
This is where the Cybercast like turns dangerous because like you uncover a lot of really good stuff.
Yeah, let's see. Randy says, almost done with Transformers, almost done with Black Series as well. Yeah, Transformers, I'm like, trying to think of like, and there's some still main characters that are at least main to me, you know, like I like the Japanese stuff. So, you know, that I want, but like all the minor ones, even that they made toys of, like the Throttle bots and stuff like that, or the Spark bots, like, dude, I don't care.
My goal for like Transformers is all I want is all the masterpiece, the best representation. I don't care whether it. Well, I mean, I do and I don't. I prefer official, but if third party comes out and makes a better version, then I'll get a masterpiece version of the G1 cast. I want masterpiece versions or the best representations of Armada, Energon, Cybertron, and that's it. Like everything else is just whatever fillers. Like I've got the 86 line just because I want to try and support it because I think that that's fantastic. So I went out and just went to the store and just bought some. And it's just other bits and bobs. Like I'd say it's probably one of my biggest Holy Grails. I don't even know if it still works. Does it work?
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It worked for a second.
Yeah.
Here you go. Yeah. But I bought that years ago, but I'm kind of content. I wouldn't say I'm done with Transformers, but I'd say about halfway. When I get to the point of like getting 3 more lines of what I want and getting all the main cast of G1, I'm content.
So for me, I'm done when Fans Toys are done. I'm going to write out Fans Toys. Every Fans Toys release I pick up, I want to make sure that I have those, but when they're done, I'm done. That's it.
I think their Galvatron, Cyclonus, and Scourge is top notch.
Yeah, I have them all
several times.
Yeah. You know what their first one was? I have their first release right
beautiful.
Here. This was their first release, dude. Shockwave.
Yeah, I had that.
I had that.
Quakewave.
And look at him.
Yeah,
I mean,
I had him. He was solid. That's what sold me on Fans Toys. I think
he's solid, dude.
On him
I can confirm Quakewave will survive a drop test. I did that many times.
Randy says, I had a buddy that buys Jazz Inc. stuff. Everything came to him damaged. It really sucks.
Yeah, I heard that too.
It does, because that stuff is expensive.
That's my Optimus right there. That's the Wang Jane or whatever it's called. It's like, it's a 12-inch, but I've got the other ones and whatnot. But this one right here is incredible, dude. That it's basically 1/6 scale.
The MP10 mold is definitely like, I know that it's the new one they made is like more like toon accurate. I don't know why. Just the MP10, it feels like it embodies.
Dude, I had so many MP10s. Jesus.
Oh yeah, because what's it? You went for the camo one and something else. You went for quite a few of them, didn't you?
Let's see. So I had Takara, a Hasbro, like some anniversary version. I had a gold one. I had a Nemesis one.
Yeah.
I had a clear one. I had a Evangelion one.
That's the one, yeah.
Dude, that one was awesome. Bill
special like
Blitzwing
sneaker version, or there was a special version of something I can't remember.
Dude, because I was wanting to do like at one point I was like, dude, I'm gonna have all the MP10s, and then they were like, hey, here's like 2 sneaker colored versions, and 7-Eleven's gonna get a version, and then something else is gonna get. I was like, all right, dude, hold up.
There's Fans Toys Jazz.
That is a good one.
Rick may have that. He's a Jazz fan.
You want to hear something funny, Hacks? I had a pre-order with Big Bad Toy Store for 4 years, and it was with Fans Toys Warpath. And I just thought, I was like, dude, this is toasted, man. I mean, 2 years, 3 years, and finally it hit. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what? It hit my pile of loot? Give me a break. I mean, it's been 4 years. And I was like, that's so bizarre, right?
God, Bill says he does have that Blitzwing.
Yeah, DX9. Except for, DX9, did you see what I was doing there? Check this out. So I think this is important. Like when you get the dead eyes. So this guy came with dead eyes, but can you see I painted him candy apple red? Can you see that?
Yeah.
Doesn't that make a difference between a dead eye and somebody with character?
Like it sparkles, like kind of like in cartoon. So
yeah, to me, I mean, it's like, dude, if you got to paint the visors of the Transformers, period. You have to have paint on them.
I'm not a fan of the translucent eyes
No.
unless there's light features, then I guess it's all right. But like, I would still rather have paint,
Yeah.
like some type of chrome paint
Yeah.
on it, just because dude, I was never a fan of light piping, so like I hate gimmicks with stuff.
That's
Which
the
begs the
Wayne
question.
Jane
Ah.
Megatron. That's it's 12 inches. It's perfection, dude. Look at this. This thing doesn't move.
Wow. Yeah.
Actually, I actually have that in my box of stuff to go sell.
You have that? Don't sell it, dude.
I'm gonna put a price on it to where it's like if they give it to me, then I'm like okay with selling it, but at a price that also that no one might even want to buy it. So
I see what you're doing. Yeah.
So
yeah, because like I put a price on it to where it's like, hey, that's not worth that. I'm like, that is what I am willing to let it go for.
Let me
So
share it.
if someone wants to pay it, then I'm like, I will gladly take that money. But if everyone is just like, I have to go home with that, then I'm like, I'm fine with that.
Yep. Let me give you some experience that I just had. I went to a Reno toy swap that was recommended to me from a YouTuber out of the Reno area that does what do you call those diagrams? For like hot
the
toys and
dioramas
stuff like that. Like pretty really nice ones. And I did this toy swap, where you could sell your stuff, and there was so many Funko Pops, right?
Yeah. Oh God.
And then there was like really vintage stuff, and I pulled some stuff out of my closet, models, Super Robot Chikokins, all kinds of stuff, and it didn't really do too well because it was kind of expensive, but people were tripping out because they'd never really seen that kind of stuff before. What they're used to right now is all those Funko Pops, which is really bizarre, dude. It's bizarre.
Yeah, that's where I went to Mike's like I forget basically Little Rock Comic Con. I forget what he called it this past year, like Saline County Comic Con or whatever. So I had a table over there where I brought Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain, and then I had like these San Diego Comic Con exclusive, like the NECA Turtle 4-packs, which go for like $300, $400, $500, a set and stuff. And like Transformer Masterpiece figures, like I had those, which those were several $100s worth. And I had some other stuff that like I didn't have hardly any cheap stuff.
Right.
Did anyone buy anything? I think I made about $700-800, but it was mainly from another dealer that like came by and was like, like he sold a bunch of stuff and was like, dude, I want your stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so he sold off, his little kind of like, loose figures and stuff, and then came and spent that money with me at the end of the show. And, other than if it wasn't for him, that I probably only would have made like a couple $100. But like he spent like another like $600 with me at the end of the show, so which made the trip worth it. He actually, got my number and he was like, dude, I want to contact, and this was last summer. And he was like, I want to contact you. We're going to head to a Ranger game and I want to come up. Cause I was selling my Masters of the Universe, the Castle Grayskull, Point Dread, and Snake Mountain. And so therefore I had all the vehicles too. So like Roton and Point Dread, Battle Ramp, like all the vehicles, the Stridor, Night Stalker, all the vehicles that they released for the Classics line, I had them all. So I was like, he goes, dude, I want to buy all of it. So I was like, hell yeah, dude, because we're talking like close to $2,500, so I was like, dude, I'll work a deal with you, so, but either way, we were going to be in between about $2,000, $2,500, and I just never called, but that's why I still got to, I got to go try to see if I can sell this some other way, but dude, that was going to be a nice relief just to get a big chunk of it just gone, because I can't really set up stuff in the collection room because it's just all sitting over here in boxes, you know, because I don't want to take it out and put it back into the boxes, you know, risk damaging it or anything like that.
Totally.
So,
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh,
so,
mate, don't
yeah,
get me started on boxes. You want to see boxes? Right.
Yeah,
dude,
show me
disclaimer,
I got
I-
2 attics and a garage just full of boxes.
Do
I
you really?
apologize, everyone, for what you're about to see. But when I say box and I've got things in box, I mean like yeah. I just put everything in the box.
Hey, shit, dude, watch it.
It's a long story, but long story short, or short story long, as I like to call it. I'm trying to rearrange stuff. I put it in a box, realize I got way too much crap. I put it in box, and now I'm scared to rearrange and put it all back on shelves.
Yeah.
So half of this room is just box and box. And that's where it's staying.
Real quick, Randy, it's been last like April or something, so a year ago since I priced that sucker, so I don't even remember what I had it at. But as soon as I figure it out, I'll let you know on that one. So David, Chris is the guy that I don't know if you ever heard this story, that when he came to BotCon, first time ever being on a plane, and it was from Wales to Kentucky.
Oh, shit.
To Louisville, Kentucky, to go to BotCon to meet us there.
I will confirm I shit my pants.
I'm like, that's your first time on the plane, and it's across the ocean. Like,
Dang, dude. Yeah.
so that's crazy. But this is the same guy that bought a Fort Max and put it in his suitcase to bring to fly home with him and mailed his clothes home.
Hell yeah, dude.
It worked.
dedication.
It worked, and do you know
I
what?
like that.
I've still got him. Like he's down there, but yeah,
That's dedication right there.
And
I was sweating though.
I was like, dude, you know what? That is going to be like you because you wanted to keep your Fort Max with you or whatever. I was like, that's actually going to be the cheapest option anyway, because milling that Fort Max across the ocean is going to be a few $100s anyway.
Yeah.
Where your clothes won't be, you know, and also you can insure them as well. You know,
It
just
took 2
insurance,
weeks
the
for my
shipping and
clothes to
everything.
come back, though. I mean, that was a long 2 weeks. I thought,
You're like, don't they put these like you're just throwing them on the same plane?
I didn't get
your
tracking or
clothes, your
anything
clothes.
for it. So I'm just literally
What?
just thinking, like, hang on a minute. I've got like my iPad. It was about like £800-900 worth, which whatever that is in dollars, like £800-900 worth of clothes and shoes. I thought, I don't even know where it is, and it took 2 weeks to arrive. But I came back with my BotCon stuff and my Fort Max.
Americans, and you're saying like 800-900 pounds of clothes. Like we're thinking weight. Like Jesus Christ, that's a lot of clothes. 800 to 900 pounds of clothes.
800-900 well, £8. What would that translate into dollars?
Oh, I remember him.
Retro. This is retro right here.
Oh yeah.
What happened to them, man? They were pretty good. They started getting pretty good. Perfect in effect.
Dude, yeah, perfect effect. Like they fell. iGear fell. Like a lot of them, man.
I love this.
Fans Project. Does Fans Project do anything anymore? Like
Fans Project is still around, kind of. But it's the same
still promising all those headmasters and stuff.
Yeah.
They ever deliver on those or?
No, I don't think they did. No.
I remember at like TF cons they would show up in the future third-party items coming, and like 3 or 4 years in a row they would show those Fans Project headmasters, and like really you guys are still going to put those on the slide as coming soon.
If I can remember, it was. Oh, I'm trying to think.
I've never seen that. Apparently, that's the new meme, is some Evangelion stuff.
That's
the only thing I ever.
That's the 3-0 Evangelion robot.
Yeah, the only thing I had was MP10 Evangelion, and I only got it because I like the colors. I like the colors. I thought they were awesome. I love purple with that lime green and black and stuff. But I was like, I have no idea what this is. I remember Dakota would make fun of me. He was like, "You don't even know what Evangelion is." I'm
Yeah.
like, I was like,
You know,
all I
you
know
know
is
what I
it's
actually
purple
have?
and it looks good.
I have the Wing Jing, that Optimus and Megatron, but I have the Evangelion Optimus Prime with the big old trailer and stuff, with the nerve symbols on the end of it and whatnot. It's pretty cool.
The one that I was really gutted on that they stopped was Gigapower, because they're Dinobots. I mean, I've got them all, and I love them. They were absolutely amazing.
Dude, I got all the Gigapower Dinobots. But they're not coming out right now.
I miss the Dukes. The Duke, the last cases that Transformers released are the only ones worth getting. They never make enough, and they are hard to find. So the return is always good. The last cases.
I'm trying to think what other companies I used to love.
Back.
I know KFC turned into X-Trans bots.
Make Toys. Make Toys made some good stuff too.
Here, right here. Here's the Make Toys Jazz. It was great. So I've got the Headmasters too from Make Toys. That's pretty much what I'm collecting from them. But this is the Make Toys Jazz. That's a great jazz.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Also, nice. Make Toys is still around doing stuff.
Yeah. They're finishing up.
I thought they were done too.
They're doing their cone heads and they're doing the Headmasters.
Didn't you have the Debbie Josh of Make Toys?
Yeah, I thought it was awesome.
You did.
It wasn't as big as what all the other companies were doing, like masterpiece scale. Like it was still a little bit smaller, but I just thought the way it looked,
it had some like heft,
really good. Yeah, he was a little stocky boy. I thought he looked cool. The aesthetic of him, even though he wasn't gonna scale with anything or whatever, I was just like what I would have a coworker come over, and when he looked in the room, his eyes go straight to that Devi, and he was just like, "Dude, I want that." He goes, "That just looks awesome." So,
what's your favorite trooper from Star Wars?
Biker Scout, and then the Scarab Trooper.
This one here.
Yeah.
Nice. This is an amazing piece from Hot Toys.
Dude, they're finally coming out with a helmet with him. John says, "Hey Hex, haven't watched in a long time, man. I used to watch way back. Glad to see you still on here. Thanks for joining back with us, man. We actually have someone that's been watching probably since 2012 and stuff like that. David, that you might recognize from chat as well. So he's on with us today. So like I said, kind of in the beginning of the video, like it'd be cool to every once in a while, like if you guys ever want to come on the show and just hang out, talk, like we didn't. My internet was acting up earlier. It seemed like the problem got better, after I X all the tabs, and so we aren't going to do screen share because my internet's messing up. That we're just going to, talk about whatever toys stuff. But if you guys ever want to come on, you can always message me on Twitter or on Instagram at G1Xtron, and just be like, "Hey, I'd like to come on sometime." I'll let you know when, and then just same thing with David. Send him a link and join us.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have some like new people and stuff. I remember years and years and years ago, I used to watch a show. This is going back when it was Predaking and Friends. What was it? No, the Mighty Predaking, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would watch a show for ages and ages, and then just one day it's like, look, Chris, I can't remember what my YouTube name was back then. I think it was Optimus Barrett Prime. It's like, mate, you're always watching a show. Why don't you just come on? I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was just me and Dakota and like me
Oh,
and
what were their
Dakota
names?
mainly. But like everyone else was just like people that would watch and stuff and always comment and
Yeah,
were like, you're always here and you're always talking in chat. Like it would be better if I didn't have to read you all the time and you just
yeah,
Yeah,
were
yeah,
on. So
it
like
worked.
Rick, Mike, Dalton, Chris, like that, everyone. So
yeah.
uh,
You've actually highlighted my collection a few times through the years. It's dude,
I remember.
I've been watching you for probably like 12 years or 10 at least. It feels like. How long have you been YouTubing for?
I think it was 2012
Yeah,
when I started it.
yeah.
What memory saver? What is it?
You've got a lot of views on some of your old school Transformers, reviews.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, you've been doing it for a while, man.
Yeah, I used to do God, I forget what's my most watched or something like that is like toy hunting.
I remember the toy hunt ones. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, those,
so let's see. So I had a channel for about a year before I did this one. So this one I started March 22nd on 2013. So when I
oh wow,
first
yeah.
started, it was Mighty Predaking and only had that for about a year. And then I switched over. Uh, I created this new one, G1
Yeah.
Hextron. So
Yeah, you
So
were
10
doing some
years then.
hot toys there for a little bit, bro. You were doing hot toys.
I've got a mix. So.
Yeah,
Transformers G1, third party, Star Wars.
yeah. But I'm just
I don't
saying
know
there
what,
was a
but
time where you
I quit after a while,
yeah.
or actually a few years I guess ago. Is I would go in and like so Monday would come and like I would be off on Mondays. Well,
Mm.
I'd be off Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then I wouldn't go back to work until Tuesday at 9 p.m. But we'll come in Monday. All right, wake up. All right. Uh, what I want to put out, let's say three a day, and like I get enough stuff in all the time to where I'm like, dude, I could do 10 videos a week, but I used to like, all right, I would spend all Monday, not because it was like a long time to shoot the video, but I used to try to come up with like informative stuff to talk about
Mhm.
while doing it and make sure I point out every little detail and stuff, just try to add something extra. And then it was just like, you know, look, and I would write some stuff down. I'm like, okay, like bullet points. I want to make sure I talk about this, and this, and this. So it was like I put a lot into it, and then it was like just take up the complete day. And like by the end of it, I'm like, dude, I'm tired. I've just been sitting at this desk, and then hunched over, and then I didn't have any editing software, so like I could get like just about three quarters or almost all the way done and then mess up on something, and then I
Mm.
would just stop, erase, start from beginning.
Oh
And
man.
so
Mm.
dude, that got annoying to where I ended up to where it was just like I wasn't putting in the same effort into
Mm.
it and just making them, like quick was like, all right, here it is. Da, 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 you know. And I was
Mm.
like, dude, I'm not putting in the effort. It reflects, because I would put something out, then it would get like a lot of views, and then I wouldn't put in the effort, and then it would like you see the returns on whether you put in effort or not,
Mm.
so that's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Uh, and like I'm not gonna lie to myself, I know that happened, and so I was like, you know what, it's pointless for me to put the like, you know, why am I doing it,
Mm.
so I'm like, I'll keep this show around though. That way it keeps me connected with community and
Mm.
meeting new people and stuff like that. And I'll enjoy it. So that's why I'm like, let's do. And we used to do this show every Saturday night, and then another show right after it as well, which was this, just talking. Where the Cybercast would be like new stuff coming out, and then immediately do another show after it, where just kind of a hangout.
Yeah, I remember
basically
that.
what we did today.
It was Cybercast and then followed by Aftercast, which I think we had half-hour interval. Was it?
Yeah.
It was like very little time, like transitioning between like the next show. Yeah.
And then it was like for years did that every Saturday, and then I was just like, dude, I want a Saturday night off every once in a while. I was like, Jesus Christ,
Yeah, I know, dude. Go to a steakhouse or something, man.
Yeah, but anyways, when I get off work, so I wake up at 7 p.m. on Friday, and I go to work. I don't get off until 7:30 in the morning, and I don't take a nap. So like I've been up since 7 p.m. yesterday.
Man.
So like I've been up. So I've been up for 25 and a half hours at this point straight. Like that's how it is on every Cybercast. So whenever I start the show, I have been up for 23 hours.
That's insane, at that point, bro.
So that's why whenever I do the show, and then sometimes I'm like stuttering in my words, or they mess up and stuff. Like, dude, my mind is just drunk. Like, yeah,
man. I didn't know that, dude. I got to give you some street cred for that, bro. I mean, that's a long run. That's a long day, for sure.
Yeah. So that's where I was like. And sometimes we go 3-4 weeks without doing it. It's like, hey, we say it's a bi-weekly, but you've only seen it once a month for the past 3 months or something like that. Just because like we try to connect, and like someone has something else going on, or they have kids, they got something going on. I was like, so that's why it's nice. Like if we start having people that want to start coming on the show and stuff like that, because I think we can have 6 in here or something like that. Then we can start doing that. Let's see. John, I used to go by my full name, Jonathan McKnight.
I recognize that name,
and I send in questions pretty often. I think so.
I remember the McKnight part. Yeah,
I was a big chunk collector and started watching around the end of Combiner Wars era. Still have all my stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then let's see, Randy says, after watching Autobot beg people for money, never wanted to do YouTube.
Yeah. That's brutal, dude. I saw that a few years back, bro.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
It was it
was hard to watch.
I have I was friends with Paul for a while, and then I don't know, and then I guess I went for a long period of time where like we didn't talk, but like I never had a problem with him or anything like that. Either. And then
it's just like natural drifting.
Like we have each other's like cell phone numbers and stuff. I don't even know if he's changed it because I haven't tried to call him in years, but and then I went on Twitter one time because someone was like, "Hey, Paul said something, or showed something." I was like, "Oh, let me check it out." And I looked on Twitter, and he had blocked me. So I was like, "Okay."
Huh?
So
the one thing would be really interesting to have on you at some point. I don't know if you've ever watched him. Is Jobby the Hong?
I think I've heard of him.
Yeah,
I've never really watched Transformer reviews just because
you don't necessarily.
I already know what I already know that I'm gonna buy. You
don't necessarily like watch his reviews for the reviews. It's like proper. It's an adult reviewing something, and it's done in a unique way. No one else does it like him, and it is really funny. But that would be an interesting character to see one day.
Bill's, I don't hate or like the guy, but I can't stand his voice. Kind of like a Pete Davidson. Bill, you would say.
Who are we talking about?
He's talking about Paul.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The one voice I really can't understand, well, not understand it, I can't listen to often is Ben's Collectibles. Lovely guy, really lovely guy. But it's when he speaks like this and transforms like this and such.
Do you guys know Justin's Collectibles?
I got to be honest, I don't know a whole lot of new. Like I know old ones, like we're talking like 2011, 12, 13, 14
Oh gosh.
era is the ones that I would know.
Like Pio?
Yeah,
He's
like
still around.
he's
You
been
guys
on
know
the show
Nenny
a few
Hugh?
times.
Yeah.
PL's been on the show a few times.
Oh, has he?
Yeah, a few times, yeah.
He did. He was on with us. He's friends with Rick. Like they, like I
That's
guess they
cool.
live close to each other, so they go out to lunch every so often. But
Oh, nice.
Ben's a really
he
nice
was
guy.
on one of the GI Joe things that we did on an episode. But like I know the old, I guess, Transformer reviewers, just because during that time, like I was, starting to do it as well, and not that like I wasn't looking to copy anyone because I wanted to do my own thing. Like why, I don't understand why copy someone, because if they wanted to see that done, they would just watch the original person. But I wanted to be like, hey, is there little things that I can pick up, like
inspiration?
Like that they did. Like the only thing that I was like, whenever I've seen some people do it, where I'm like, okay, I'm never gonna do that. Is like they would come up with like little mascots and talk for them. I'm like, okay, that's not
you're talking about Sean Long, or are you talking about MGO?
I don't know. There's a few of them where I was just like, okay, that is definitely not my personality at all. Where I think whenever I talk, that people know that I'm being 100% genuine, and like when you see me, like that's me.
Yeah.
Like whenever the camera turns off, I'm never like God, what do you call it?
Well, you don't go into character, dude.
We're the people where they're like over. Okay. Well, this guy, he's blocked me on Twitter too, so I'll just go ahead and say it. Like, I'm sure, nice guy, and I've watched his videos for a long time too. Like Pixel Danny's, hey guys, how did he do it? Like I'm like, dude, I'm never gonna do that.
Is he a Transformer reviewer or
no? He's a Masters of the Universe mainly guy, but like he does a lot of other stuff. Like I like his toy hunts, they're cool.
Yeah.
He used to do a podcast show with a guy named Dirt.
Yeah. What about Shatrdglassjazz Prime?
I never watched him, so
no.
Shatrdglass. Not
sure.
Yeah,
Shatrdglassjazz Prime. Those are the old school guys, dude. You got Hex. Hex, you're old school, bro. You've been around forever. I've been watching you forever, dude.
Dude, if you have videos that are like 720p or below, which I think mine are at least at 720p, that's the lowest.
Yeah.
Then I guess you can go say you're old school. Like all
no, dude, I've been watching you since you first came out. That was a long time ago. That was long before I was in Reno. I was down the hill. It's been a while, dude. It's been a while.
What was the camera you had years ago, Josh? It's either Sony or Canon, a bridge camera, and it would only film in 720.
Samsung, I think, maybe.
No, we weren't Samsung. I don't think.
I don't even remember.
Black,
I don't even have
like
it anymore.
blocky camera.
As soon as I found out, whenever I was like, I need a new camera, and then like I was like, and I need a new phone, and then the guy was like, the cameras in these phones are better than any of these other cameras. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do that then. So
I first started. I was watching. It was two people at the same time. It was. Well, obviously it was Paul. But another one was called Biker Trash Wolf, and it was only, I think, well, you had Bolt Matrix, Biker Trash Wolf, Autobot, and it was one other guy, Sports Wolf. Can't remember, but they were the only 4 on YouTube, like going back in the original days of it. But I know Bike Trash Wolf posts, just not reviews.
Bobby Skullface.
I don't know how long he's been going for. Skullface.
Days. 12 years, 13 years.
Wow.
Oh wow, really? I didn't know that long.
Yeah. But
I've heard
Max, you've been going for that long too, bro. I mean, you know, it was like Pia's the somehow, some way I ended up on Pia's station because back in the day he was getting a lot of action. So I think it was like 2010, 2011. Pia was the king of Transformer reviews.
There's always like whenever I needed to watch a review, like because like I said back then, like I would subscribe to several different people because I'm like I want to see what different people's interpretation of something is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and see if there's anything that I'm like, okay, that's neat. Like I didn't notice that. I need to make sure that I point that out. Like if they were, you know, so basically I was gathering information to make sure that I made the best review I can make, well informed, and also my style, right? Because I didn't want to like take any on one style. But as far as like I need to make sure that I've got this transformed down, is I always admired PRs as well, is because like as soon as it started, like all right, let's start, and then I'm doing this, and this goes here. This I'm like, I love it. Not wasted any of my time. I don't have to watch some 60-second intro, you know, with slideshow and like effects. That's great that you're good at effects, and you know, you know that some of them put it out. You know, they're not all a minute long. You know, some of them are 15 seconds or whatever. But I'm like, you're not wasting any time. Like we're getting right into it.
Yeah.
So, and then I was like, and that's this moves. All right, going back, and I'm like, and that's it. It's done. And I'm like, thank you. That's all I needed to know. I didn't need some, you know, I didn't need some 5-minute video turn into some 40-minute video, you know. Let's see. Randy says, I started watching this when you bought my Metroplex. Just happened to be listening to that show. Oh, that's you're how I bought the Metro. I forgot who sold me the Metroplex. Dude, I don't know if you saw it earlier whenever I was showing stuff around. Dude, I still got them over there.
Really? The Make Toys?
Yeah, he's over there.
Yeah, and it's got the upgraded head and stuff like that.
Oh, nice. Is that your Transformers collection? Nice.
Yeah, those over there.
Nice.
Yeah, because I missed out on Metroplex, and I was, you know, like mad at myself. I was like, dude, I want that Metroplex.
How long ago was that, bro?
Couldn't have been that long ago.
I mean, it was years ago.
Yeah, 6, 7.
So, oh, I showed this off earlier. I don't know if you saw it. Yeah, this is the only third party I have.
What is that?
This is the.
It's something you can never own.
Original first test shot of the Bold Forms Gladius or Glad.
I remember that, dude. I do remember that. I remember it. That's pretty cool, but it didn't hit well though, did it?
No. So the owner, he came into town. He was going to some show to another show. We stopped him, his wife, ordered pizza, and we sat in there for like 4 hours just hanging out talking, and he was showing me this that he was coming out with, and
that's pretty cool.
Like he had sent me that Bold Forms Minosaur, I forget what, or not Minosaur, but Motor Master at the time, and that was a test shot, or actually that might have been a prototype.
Nice.
I'm not exactly, but he was just like, here, I have these 2 test shots. This is the first original ones. It's a little bit floppy, but like he had a little styrofoam case for me.
That's awesome.
And it has like a silencer and a scope and all the
other
stuff on it. And I sold the Boldform's Motor Master one on eBay, and like someone bought it for, I forget how much, like $300 or $400.
What?
Yeah, because it was a test shot. So they only make a couple of them.
Mhm.
So and whoever bought it was just like, hey, if you ever have any more of this stuff, I want it. But whenever he gave me this, he was like, please don't sell this one. Just keep this one as the gift from me. So I was like, all right,
That's
I'll do
cool.
that.
Yeah, that's
So,
cool.
It's like it's also cool to be like something like I have, something that even though it's third party, I'm sure there's thousands of third party original test shots of different things out there.
Do you remember Made in Japan?
Made in Japan.
Yeah, they did the Junkion. They did the Junkion Classic. Remember the Junkions from the Classics Transformer line, and you could buy Made in Japan, and they were these resin armor plates that would go over your Junkions to turn them into the ones that look like from the.
I remember there was something like that. I didn't remember who did it.
That's a long time ago, dude. So for all of us here, the Fans Project is probably the first third party that I can remember. Fans Project was the third party for years, right? And then they
all right, later, Randy. Have a good night, man. Appreciate you coming on. If you ever want to join us, you know how to get in contact with me.
Good night, mate.
We'll probably finish up here soon too. Yeah, it's almost.
I'm beat, man. I got.
Yeah, it's 20 to 3 in the morning. You're in the UK.
Appreciate it.
And I'm still awake.
Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, we can wrap it up there too. So, all right, Chris, where can people find you?
You can find me here on Cybercast, and you can find me on Twitter, but you won't.
Give us your address, Chris. Tell us where we can find you.
You can find what's Dalton's address? I'll just give him Dalton's.
That's funny.
All right, David, if you want to shout anything or anything, go ahead.
No, just thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it. It was nice chatting with you. Nice to meet you, Chris. I'm on IG, David Lynchen, and Twitter, but I really don't do too much other than share collection pics and talk about my Miami Dolphins. So that's about it. I'm boring, dude.
Nothing wrong with that.
And if you guys ever want to mention at me or direct message me, what am I talking about? Again, I've been up for a very long time.
Yeah.
If you ever want to message me on Instagram or Twitter and come on or anything like that, you can hit me at g1xtron@gmail.com, or not Gmail. Well, I guess you can email me too. I don't care. I'm just giving all my information away now. So yeah, you can hit me an email. I don't care.
Email, Twitter.
Yeah. So, all right. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. We'll talk to you later. Peace.
Bye-bye.